Yeah, another round.
Oh yeah, we back.
Let's go.
We back. All right, I'm sorry about that. People had to
When every breakup ends in flames, but when you know.
That Cash App.
Yeah. Yo, when every split starts a war, it's no surprise. Every exit target got that chip on my eyes. Carolina Lindsay, all smooth like butter. But Meredith, nah, she climbed out the gutter. She didn't play the game, she flipped the script. Leaked messages hit hard like a cruise sun whip. Yo, Dawson on the rise, they spilling my tea. It's easier to blame her when you can't even see.
You're the common denominator. Ain't the ones who left. It's the mindset you wear. It's the rage you've kept. When every breaker's about to blame, waste no waiting in flames. When every love is won't lead to a problem in this twisted game. Look at the record, see the lies they tell. I'm already stood tall now. Can't you see she ain't fell? Yeah.
Can't you see she ain't fell? Course and violence like it's all a show. Public meltdowns, master latest and low. Wanna paint her a villain when she spoke a truth. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, you pull all the sluice. These tactics is classic, turning friends into foes. I see the problem when your shadows will grow. Every woman that leaves, nah, it ain't their fault. Why can't you see the cycle, man? You built this vault, yo.
Yeah, just send him a message, J Bro.
Just move blind.
The W/numbers.
Narrative, see the way it unwinds. When every breakup's about to play, each moment lit in flames. When every lover suddenly the problem in this twisted game. Look at the record, see the lies they tell. Miranda stood tall and proud. Can't you see she ain't fell?
Yeah. Can't you see she ain't fell? So here's the lesson: if you dare to engage, when the cycle of blame is just part of the stage. Remember, merge the one who didn't take the heat. When the common denominator's you, don't you dare hit repeat. Can't you see she ain't fell?
This one goes out to everybody in the chat, the mods, the members. This beat is for you.
Yeah, we gon' take a moment before we dive in.
Let me show some love, you know.
Yeah. Turn on the stream, feel the energy rise. Shout out to the fam, the ones in the skies. Every comment, every laugh keeps the vibe alive. You're the heartbeat of the chat, yeah, we thrive. Pulling up each night, ready to roll, you make this place lit. Body and soul, vibes in the back, heavy lifting, they don't play. Keeping it smooth, watching traffic every day. Peacekeepers on alert, holding down the fort. Crew full of love, every stream they support. To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. Out the backbone of the night, holding us tight. To the members, true believers, making it real. You're the pulse in our heart, let's do the deal. To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. Out the backbone of the night, holding us tight. To the members, true believers, making it real. You're the pulse in our heart, let's seal the deal.
We see you dedicated, going the extra mile. Not just watching you invested. That's the style.
Lights on, vibe strong, every show's a hit. Communing together, can't take a minute to quit. You keep us going, no water down vibe. From the chest to the muds, know we thrive.
Major respect to the ones who keep it clean. Clean up crew rolling, y'all know what I mean. Don't try it today, they say with a glance. Bringing peace to the chaos, giving us a chance. To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. Y'all the backbone of the night, holding us tight. To the members, true believers, making it real. You're the pulse in our heart, let's seal the deal. To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. You're the backbone of the night, holding us tight. Just know this is true. We appreciate every single one of you. This is our moment, community's the key. Let's get it poppin', let's set the stream free. So here's to the chat mods and members like, oh, you're the heart of the stream and that's never getting old. Now let's get into it, yeah, we ride on time. With you by our side, every night's a problem,
Yeah, we out here holding it down. This community's crowd.
Yeah, they ask if I'm okay, but I'm grinding my teeth. Smile like I'm fine, but beneath I'm a beast. They see the mask, they want the
Man,
truth, but
you
I'm
gotta put
tight
your
lipped.
camera on.
Flash 'em a grin like I'm good, but my heart's in a grip. Chasing dreams in this concrete jungle, no room for doubt. Pressure building up like a storm, gotta scream it out. Through these walls, hear me, or is it just echoing pain? Flashes of the past, torture like they holding the chain. 6 feet under, man, that's where the flowers grow. But I'm still here fighting, just trying to find my flow. I feel my father's shadow lurking in my chest. The weight of the world has got me feeling stressed. They look at me and say, boy, you ain't man enough. But they don't see the fire that's burning in the rough. Maybe these walls could talk. They say it's all my fault. That I don't try hard, act like I never fought. But I'm just trying to stand. But the flames, they lick my feet. Every flower I touch.
Started to mix a little, and then it started to mix a lot. And then, you know, predominantly all the families were pushed out of here, and all the families from the inner city of Boston started moving into here.
These projects were always white before the 80s, that is, when forced integration was put into place, and these policies created a stir all over Boston.
When Boston schools were court-ordered to desegregate in 1974, things got ugly quickly.
I remember as a young kid being spit on by white boys, you know, going to Cub Scout, and it was very difficult to go into Cub Scout singing "My Country, 'Tis of Thee, Sweet Land of Liberty." But I remember smelling of liquor and spit.
Buses for black students to get to the newly integrated schools were met with racial violence.
Oh, this is all Section 8. This is if you lived in here, you weren't paying no rent. You were living off the state's dime. They got all type of vehicles in here now.
Is that the
You were living
CSO,
in here,
whatever that
you
is?
I don't know what the van is.
Section 8. All right, here
See,
we
but
go. We got
these
Diana
cruisers and
coming in
stuff.
the
There
building.
they are, the boys.
Yeah,
Stay
the
away from
boys.
the boys.
See all these
what she
buildings
wants
here?
to Say, you know, so
These
let's
newer
get into
ones,
it.
the
Or the
green.
blue, green, yeah.
Those used to be.
All right, 1
That
second.
used to be a church. It used to be a Catholic school.
Forgive me today, but I'm not really, muscle relaxed up, screwed up my back, and got the, crutches here. I believe we got Diana up on the screen. Let me get back over there. What's up, Diana? You guys, can you hear me? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I can.
There
How
she
are
is.
you?
All right, I'm a little messed up on a couple of muscle relaxers today, so bear with me.
Hey, you ain't hurting nobody.
Not today.
Hey, you're a Rebello?
Yeah, I am.
I'm related to Rebellos.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What you from Mass?
My mother's family was from like out Fall River, I believe.
Me too. That's where my family, the Rebellos, are.
I
Is in
think
Fall
my
River.
mom had an aunt Dorothy. I gotta think.
I gotta look.
Yeah.
I'm telling. You look familiar. I don't know
You might
why.
have seen me in the post office. My picture.
Oh,
might have
like
seen
on
my
a milk
picture hung
carton?
up. Nah. I've been streaming for a long, long time. I just kind of get on this train over here, Karen Reed movement.
Yeah.
Allegedly, I don't even know what to call it anymore. And I nobody was speaking up against Turtle. You know what I mean? So I had to jump off the porch because
I have been. I've been like doing an investigation into him, and he knows
really.
that.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the stage. Tell us, what do you know that we don't know?
Oh, I know everything about this son of a bitch. And he is going down for mortgage fraud because
Ooh.
when you apply for a mortgage, I mean, it doesn't ask you those questions, but the law still it says that if anyone with a criminal record or pending charges must disclose to the bank or the realtor, because they want to know if the shit's going to get paid. The mortgage, if he's got open cases, right?
Right.
And you go and you take out a mortgage, you're essentially like defrauding that bank, because you knew to be a good person, a good, honest person. That's what he should have done. But we know he didn't do that. And you know what? I'm trying to find out if he paid cash for that entire house.
I mean, it could be, it's all public record. I mean, you go to the town hall and you could definitely find out. But I mean, he admits that his chat bought him the house.
And furnished it and everything. I mean, you're going to go buy a $600,000 house and you can't even afford, like, I'm talking paper towels, dude, like stupid things, like we have homeless veterans.
Conveniently, right after that happened, the other guy moved, allegedly.
Yeah. And he got a wish list. Can we set up wish lists for veterans?
Hey, that would be nice, right?
I mean, you are so ignorant, and you even had the audacity to say, like, oh, I could pay for all this if I wanted to. But these people, I have never in my life seen such ignorance. Like, is dude, like, in reality? Like, what we're seeing and what he's seeing is the total opposite.
Someone said he took out a homestead, and that's how he was able to.
It don't matter. It doesn't matter, because if there's a case, a litigation that comes up against him, like say Meredith, what he did to Meredith, that homestead's not going to protect him because it was illegal activity.
That makes sense.
If it was someone that fell on his property or somebody that was injured on or near, then the homestead would cover it. But if it has anything to do with like criminal shit, they won't honor that.
So let me ask you, where did you first, how do you know Turtle Boy?
I started following him like 9 years ago. And I had a friend, and she was going through a lot. Like, I'm talking a lot. And he just hammered into her for like 8 months, 9 months. She wanted to commit suicide. Like, you have no clue what he did to my friend. And she's okay now. But so I always had that vendetta. And then I still watch them because he's just a fucking tool shed, I just would randomly go and see like what an it. But anyway, then I kind of, with the Karen Reed case, I was like, maybe, he's on to something. So I gave him another chance. And then I started to catch on. I was keeping up with the donations. I checked the GoFundMes. He's not allowed to use PayPal, TD Bank. That's why he's got Venmos in Erica's name. Yo, I got his laid out, and he knows that. And he still had the audacity to use, like, mock me during a bus stop live last week because I was on with Untwisted Tragedies. We were going to talk about the Just On Route case. And so I had an ankle monitor on my leg because a state trooper pointed a gun at my dog. I lost my fucking shit. Okay. I got arrested. They sectioned me. I don't care. I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm not embarrassed about anything. So he puts a picture and I don't know if it's like AI, and it shows like the bracelet on my leg. Like, 2 people knew about that, Courtney and Tim Brado, because I hired Tim. So you mean to tell me one of them told TB about it?
Very interesting, And he put that out there to the public, and everybody must have known at that point that that you have an ankle monitor on.
Yeah. And I mean, it's gone. Like, it's the state trooper was afraid of me. Yo, listen, he was scared of me. And so I had no restrictions whatsoever on that shit. I just couldn't go near his neighborhood. So, you know, they don't
ask about criminals on purchase of homes. I don't remember when I bought my home if they asked me if I was a convicted felon or if I had any but it makes it interesting because if he does go to jail in November, I think his trial is week of Thanksgiving, November 26th, I believe. Yeah. So if he is convicted, which I think I ain't wishing anybody to go to jail. There was an episode I did a few months where JFK and Jay Brill was on it, and I would never, but I could see common sense. And if you look at the case, it's like you went well beyond journalism, you know. So I think he's going to get convicted, and the problem is, you know, he's a rat.
I mean, if you people don't believe me, just Google it and say, just ask, do I have to disclose on a mortgage application if I have pending criminal charges? And it will lay it right out for you. Lindsay,
I know that you're also, you know, helicopter flying. You're also, you know, innocent until proven guilty.
No, I get that.
And I don't know if anyone else, I mean, I definitely believe what you're saying. But I'm just wondering how he got around that. And I know he said something about the homestead, you know.
I see. I do investigations for insurance companies. So, one thing that I've been like focusing on that they want me to do is pools. So everybody, beautiful pool. I'm not hating. I got my own shit. I don't owe anybody a red cent. Good for him. He's got a beautiful house. I'm not hating whatsoever. But that pool, you have to have, okay, Denise, then whatever. You don't have to agree with me. All right? I don't care. So the pool, right? When you see, you have to have a chain link fence around the perimeter of that pool because it's accessible to children right through the back door.
Right. Yeah. Well,
you know,
but I think it has to be from, if you have access from the street, the fence. I'm not really sure. So I can't even really.
Well, no, it's access from the inside of the house and there's no pool alarm. Insurance companies will not insure people that have pools like that unless they have the strict rules that they follow, and they want a chain link fence around that pool, the perimeter where the cement is. Yes, he does have a fence that can keep other people out, but there's going to be kids there, correct?
Oh yeah.
You know how many kids have drowned in pools the last couple of years? We had a cop who was having a party, providing minors, it was a state trooper, providing minors with alcohol, and one of the kids drowned in his pool. And then we had 3 drownings in Brockton last year. You know, like kids don't, you just never know what kids are going to do. And I don't know.
Now, are you the one that had the school lunch?
The school lunch?
Yeah. Was you involved in the free lunch program? Because someone else was on here.
No, that wasn't me. That's oh my God, I can't think of her name. I was talking to her in chat the other day. She seems pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, cool. I have a pool in my yard, and I mean, I don't have a fence, but I don't have any neighbors to call and complain. They're only going to come out when somebody complains about it.
Do you have little kids like running around and shit?
Well, my grandkids when they come over, but I always I'm on 100 acres. You know, so I have
I'm not. Listen, trust me. I'm not saying that they're incapable of watching their children, but I've been at pool parties where adults get, cocked. All it takes is 2 seconds to take, turn your back, and any child. I'm sorry that it makes me nervous, and I would never buy a house with a pool. And it's just, and I was trying to give him advice because insurance rates will probably be crazy.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And that's why, like, I think when my sister bought the house, I had an in-ground pool, and I filled it in with dirt.
Yeah.
And I just bought a little above ground pool for my daughter because the insurance is crazy.
I'm telling you, people with pools, like the insurance rates right now are like, it's almost $4,000 a month. I ain't lying. Those owners that lived in that house, right? They only lived there for 9 months, right? It was supposed to be their dream home, blah, blah. I found out that they left because of the high insurance rates for the pool. They bounced like the Jetsons, you know what I mean? They were out.
Right. Now let's get back to the fraud issue. Talk about that a little bit.
As far as what, hon?
As far as like, the reasons that you think that buying a house is fraud, the chat's interested in hearing about it.
Well, the thing is okay, say you were a bank and you were loaning somebody money to buy a house. And that person did not disclose to you that they had an upcoming trial. Now, knowing that, it would jeopardize how he can make the monthly mortgage payments. You get what I'm saying? So basically, if he, say, God forbid, he does go to jail, right? They can get in, his realtor can get in deep shit. And I mean, people can just look it up. And, I'm going to be honest with you. It's all about being a real person. It's all about telling the truth. It's about being honest, not deceiving people. You know what I mean? So now he knows that this is hanging over his head and his mortgage, and he didn't tell. Lindsay, his realtor, knew, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it's just not a good look. It's not a good look.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. You know what I mean? Stop back anytime.
Hey, I wanted to tell you
right now, but I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Would you want to do the Richard Allen case?
Possibly. Message me.
I will.
Either on Twitter, on Facebook, or whatever. But thank you. I appreciate you very much.
Yep. Have a good day, buddy.
You as well.
All right. Bye-bye.
So that was Diana, talking about, all our friends, TB. You could definitely buy a house with criminal charges pending, says Jay Brill. Yep, we know he's shady. Turbo Boy is shady. It's up to the realtor to decide. Very interesting, huh? The dark side of Somerville.
Called St. Polycarp's.
St. Polycarp's?
Yeah, that's what the school was called, and the church.
What does that mean, St. Polycarp's?
That's just the name of the church, St. Polycarp's.
Gotcha.
And this was the building I grew up in, right here.
Right here?
Yep. See, all this white was never here, though. It was just red brick.
They got cameras everywhere, boy.
Oh, yeah, they do now.
It's the same thing with D Street and Old Colony.
Yeah.
Or Old Harbor, too.
I grew up on the 3rd floor right here.
That's your room?
Oh, no, that's the living.
I think at one time the feds operated one side and the state operated the other side.
Living room. And then this goes down to Mystic Ave.
These are some dope-ass paintings on the side of the wall over here. That shit looks almost real.
They actually started doing this, I don't even know how many years ago, but I'm glad they did it because it used to just be spray paint and bird shit.
Big step.
Look at that mural, man. That looks very, very nice. You know what we're watching? The Dark Side of Somerville. 1 second. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me. If they find out after the closing they're getting paid, they don't care how. Yeah, exactly. They just want to get paid. You know, but right now we're watching Sean Doyle revisiting the Mystic Projects in Somerville, Mass. You know, he walked through the neighborhood, narrates the history, you know, the crimes, the culture, tragedies that have happened inside, you know, of Somerville. I thought Somerville was kind of, I mean, I ain't from Mass, but I have traveled to Mass plenty of times, Cambridge, you know, for reasons that we don't really want to talk about on the video. But the video blends a lot of personal memories, unsolved red rooms, gang activity, addiction, the Winter Hill gang history. You know, so let's get into the sheezy.
But from that,
Yeah, we used to ride our bikes up along in here, skateboards.
Mystic River time traveler.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing right now.
Yep.
Fact.
Going under this overpass. Above us is Route 93.
Yeah.
It's like going through the tunnel in Toontown and Roger Rabbit.
He said going, I like that one. Somebody just had a comment that remember the beer caps on the St. Pauli's beer. And how about the Heffenreffer bottles? You know, they all had like a puzzle on the caps.
Leave the fucking rail shit and you come under to like, kind of like definitely a more safe area.
Right,
I'm not
right,
going
right.
that way.
Hell
Let's go
no.
this way.
So
More of
the
a
water.
safe area. It's a better, this was a better neighborhood to raise kids in.
That's Medford, huh?
Yeah, some of it. Now, if you look across, you can see that bridge over there. Now, I never witnessed any of it myself. I was probably too young back then, but supposedly that's where like a lot of the old school gangsters used to go to discard like weapons.
Oh yeah.
From what I hear, also bodies. I never seen them pulling anything out or anything like that, but those were the stories growing up.
Right. That was the myth.
Yeah.
Project Myth.
The hill. If you back up some, you see that? You see that brown little thing, the trash can? Right along the fence?
I do.
That's where she was found. She was a teenager.
Right.
You know who
And
he's
she was one of the
talking
best
about?
people like in the city, like big heart.
He's talking about the girl that was the Kremlin. Yeah, such a shame, you know, a girl dies so young, but he's showing you basically where her body was found. Deanna Kremlin, you know, rest in peace. We still need to find her assassin. We need to find someone that snuffed the life out of this girl. You know, come on now.
She worked in daycare. She went to high school full time. Her name was Deanna Crimmins.
Two of New England's most troubling unsolved murders took place in the city of Somerville. Both cases have generated publicity, but to this day, there have been no arrests for the murders of Deanna Kremen and Charlene Rosemond.
Yeah.
Now,
And you knew her growing up.
Everyone knew Deanna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew Deanna. I knew her brother Albie. I hung around with Albie a lot. He's a really good kid. There's a nursing home at the top of the cliff here where she was found.
That's
None of this stuff was there. But the kids that found her, they used to walk up the stairs.
Look at them stairs, man. Does anybody recall seeing a taxi cab in the area?
And I guess one of the kids thought they had saw something, so they started walking along the inside of this fence. And they're two little kids that go to the Haley School from the projects, and they couldn't have been more than 10 years old.
That's a gruesome thing for
Yeah.
a 10-year-old to find.
Like etched in their minds for the rest of their lives.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's always cars and people.
Right.
Because if she got grabbed out here, there's no way that dude would have been able to drag her off, or whoever did it, drag her off without her making a sound, you know?
Right.
Look at all these houses. And I remember hearing about it on the news. I was in a place called the Pegasus House in Lawrence. It was
I've actually heard of it.
Kind of like a halfway house.
Yep.
And I was a young kid. I couldn't have been more than, 14, 15, 16 years old. And it crushed me.
Right.
She had a good head on her shoulders. She did good in school. And to be found like that, like just discarded, like she was a nothing. It's never been solved. And it's like, what's up with the Somerville Police Department? Like,
For Deanna's mother, it's been 30 years of agony.
It's almost impossible to live with. This time of year, it's like somebody rips a bandage off me, and the wound is just ever so more painful.
According to police, Tommy walked his girlfriend halfway home before saying goodnight, leaving Deanna to walk the rest of the way alone. She turned the corner, a straight shot to her house, and that was the last time anyone saw her alive.
The next morning, I called her boyfriend's house. I said, put Deanna on the phone now. And he said, what do you mean, put Deanna? And he's telling me she's not there. And all the questions all went through my head.
Kathy was not left wondering for long.
Deanna Kremen was found strangled behind a Somerville housing complex on March 30th, 1990.
What a beautiful girl. Such a shame what happened to Deanna. Such a shame. I got a feeling once Eddie is free, maybe that'll open up a lot of questions.
'95, just days after her 17th birthday. She had been at her boyfriend's house the evening before.
No one has been formally ruled out. But if there were any evidence linking a particular person to the crime, there would have been arrest.
I just want the person that murdered my daughter to know that made every cell of skin on your body crawl.
Her family has been relentless over the years, pleading for justice. Here on the 20th anniversary of her murder, walking through the streets of Somerville, calling on investigators to try to uncover new clues.
Put Deanna on the phone now. And he said, what do you mean, put Deanna? And he's telling me she's not there. And all the questions all went through my head.
Kathy was not left wondering for long.
Deanna Kremen was found strangled behind a Somerville housing complex on March 30th, 1995, just days after her 17th birthday. She had been at her boyfriend's house the evening before.
Maybe he should have walked her all the way home. But what happened to Deanna? Is the person still alive? Is the person watching this podcast? Very good question.
No one has been formally ruled out. But if there were any evidence linking a particular person to the crime, there would have been arrest.
I just want the person that murdered my daughter to know that made every cell of skin on your body crawl.
Her family has been relentless over the years, pleading for justice. Here on the 20th anniversary of her murder, walking through the streets of Somerville, calling on investigators to try to uncover new clues. District Attorney Marion Ryan made a promise that night.
We continue to re-examine what we have, to look at new forensic developments.
But now another decade has passed and still no answers.
I love her and I miss her. I think about her every day.
For Al Rogers, the heartbreak of losing his daughter never goes away.
It's very painful. She's not in my life anymore. All she is my memories.
Every year on the anniversary of her murder, he brings flowers to her grave and this Somerville intersection that now bears her name.
How sad, right? How sad. But if you're just joining us, we're talking about Deanna Kremen, 17 years old when she disappeared. We're talking about a daughter, someone's sister, somebody's friend. She worked in what do you say? She worked in daycare, went to school full time, loved by everybody. Boy, that 1995 must have been hot. March 30th of 95, she was found strangled behind a housing complex just days after her birthday. Sad. This shit's so sad. It really is.
It's about me paying my respects to her and letting her know that I'm still always going to be here for her. And hopefully we get some answers.
Like the cold case just stays cold, so fuck it, just who cares?
And her mother, she pays every year to put her face up on the billboard, just in case somebody turns it up.
And every year it was just a reminder of, what could happen in a place like this at that time and nothing be done about it.
Absolutely.
So if
And just hours after her body was put there, she was discovered. Imagine what Deanna's mom heard when the boyfriend Tim said, "She's not here." Boy, how fast does that mother's intuition kick in? Just hours later, two little kids, no older than 10, walking to the school, found something near the fence. Didn't really know what it was, but something they should have probably never seen, something they should have probably never found, something that would stay in their mind, the body of Deanna.
this was Mikey Barnett's building.
This Mikey Barnett's building right here?
Yeah.
Where did Mikey catch his case? In what building he catch his case?
Oh, that's down on the new side.
Okay.
Well, not the new side, the Fed side.
And just speaking about Mikey Barnett, you said that was one of your childhood friends and shit.
Mikey's my boy, dude. He'll always be my boy.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what. Like, no matter whatever happens, no matter what goes on with him, no matter what he's doing, he's always going to be my boy. Mikey did a lot for me.
Stop back soon.
One of the things
Make sure you hit the like
that we were
button
talking
on
about
your
before
way
is
out.
kind of like
The like button.
the
Everyone,
progression
hit the
of
like button.
addiction. You know what I
Addiction
mean?
is a bitch, bro.
Right. And
Like,
he
it
got
makes you
mixed up.
do things. It makes you fucking, it changes you. It changes you in every way.
Somerville, Massachusetts, 2009. Christopher Souza was found on his living room floor by his mother, dead, with multiple game cords wrapped around his neck.
Also a bag over his head. But it went unsolved. It was a cold case for many years until 2013 when someone actually plugged in the
Wow, imagine that. Like somebody years later, you plug in an Xbox, you might buy it at a flea market or whatever, and it was stolen from a homicide. See these things at the top of the building right here? These, I believe, are satellites. Companies will rent spaces off your building, and they would put satellites up there for cell phones or whatever.
Xbox that was stolen from the house, which is what the murder was committed over. The Xbox was sold for $50 to a neighborhood kid. He plugs it in, and boom, the IP address pinged, and the authorities were led straight to that Xbox, which also then led straight back to Michael Barnett, right? Also known as Mikey. In 2014, Mikey was convicted of this crime. You know, his mother found her son dead with multiple game cords wrapped around his neck and a bag over his head in their living room floor for an Xbox that was sold for $50 so that Mikey could go get high. This to me speaks to the nature of drug.
That's horrible, man, for an Xbox that you might have got $50 for it.
It's an addiction.
Because when we were all kids, it was like just innocence.
Right.
Even though we got in trouble and shit and we got into mischief, like none of us were drug addicts back then. So it was like natural. It's like just natural to be a little troublemaker, a little shit making trouble. And then as we all got older and got into drinking and got into smoking, got into the weed, like I got into it early. Like I told you, you know, on the first one we did, like the first time I ever did coke, I was 9 years old.
Right.
So like I'd say like my addiction progressed probably a little faster than most, but everybody in here suffered the same fate or ended up doing good and getting out of here.
And Mikey, when he was growing up, he was a good dude. You said, like, he was a very honorable dude.
Mikey's always been an honorable, loyal fucking dude, bro. Like who takes someone that he hasn't seen in years, and when he's down on his luck, dude, just takes him in, dude. That's what Mikey did for me.
Right.
Without a thought. He was like, just stay at my house.
That's good shit, man.
Yeah.
Salute to Mikey's doing a life sentence right now.
Yeah, he's doing a life sentence for, you know, an alleged murder that he committed in these projects.
Right.
Yeah, so everybody would like bring their kids over to this building right here that's got the little playground out front.
Yeah.
And the whole first floor was like a daycare center that the projects that the state funded.
Yeah.
So like every kid in the fucking projects that was under 10 years old would be over there. Parents would just dump them, be like, all right, go ahead, go play. If another parent saw, you know, another kid, you know, having, you know, problems with someone else, they'd come to and have their back.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. They'd come and be like, you leave him alone, or you leave her alone, you stop it. Or I'm gonna call your parents and have your father beat your ass.
You ever get your ass beat by another parent?
Oh yeah. Definitely, dude.
Doyle.
I think I got my ass beat by almost every parent in this project.
We gotta get you doing a backflip, bro. That's the trademark, bro.
I don't know.
I don't know if my legs, to try it?
I don't know if my legs could still support it.
Man, you were never scared to jump off that fucking pull-up bar,
I was 26 years old. I'm gonna be 48, bro.
I know you might break your fucking neck.
Just squatting down, you know, tickling your baby's feet this morning, getting up, my knees were cracking and crinkling and creaking.
That's the trademark, bro. That's the Doyle trademark, bro. Everybody wants to see it, dude. They're like, get Doyle doing a backflip off the fucking project stairs, dude.
Oh, the stairs, definitely not. Those stairs, you
gotta get some leverage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't know.
What about the fence?
Maybe if we find some place that maybe I could do it, I could try it, but I don't know. I'm gonna need a soft landing zone in case that busts my ass.
That snow looks pretty soft, kind of.
Yeah. That's all cement under it, though.
That's all right. You're scared. It's all right.
Yeah, fucking right I am. I like my ankles and knees too much these days.
You need them things, right?
Yeah.
You make money makers. Nah, just fucking with you. That's it, man. We're going to hit the city, man. See Somerville.
Typical Somerville neighborhood, all triple deckers.
You know, it looks like it, though.
Yeah. Now, some girl put in on comments that the closest projects to Columbus Park were the Riverside projects in Medford.
Right.
And that's not true.
No, it's not.
Closest
Drive right
projects,
to fucking there.
the closest projects to Columbus Park, which is in South Medford, is the Mystic Projects.
Right.
And that's a fact.
Yeah. Because we drive right there. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Riverside projects, you'd have to go all the way down Mystic Ave, wrap around, all the way over by the Meadow Glen Mall. And I don't even know if the Meadow Glen Mall is still there anymore. Let's try. Yeah.
A lot of history, man. A lot of stories out here, dude. Things that get wiped under the rug so often, you know?
Yeah, there's lots of stuff that's happened in the city that people didn't want other people to know.
Right.
I mean, anywhere you go, there's going to be bad publicity for any town on the planet. There's something here or there that happened that wasn't good. And it was something that, you know, people didn't want to talk about. But, you know, sometimes I feel this is some stuff that needs to be talked about.
Oh, absolutely.
Because people just don't know. And people just, you know, it's either that or people don't want to remember. But, like, it's what I remember. And it was from my past. And it was something that when I was a kid affected me. Like, imagine being a 14, 15-year-old kid and finding out, wow, someone just got killed here, dude. Like,
So this is the ball field right here where Jerry Sullivan and allegedly, you know, Richie Allison and Jeff Hardy and all them got their caught their case.
Again, it's all different now. It's 100 years later. This is it.
And it's crazy because like I heard about this for so long too, you know what I mean? Like, and it's almost like myth, you know, you can't see the lines in the diamond where they allegedly dragged them around, or the other one behind it.
Because this used to be just one big ball field with one baseball diamond in it.
Yeah.
But there used to be, matter of fact, there used to be a set of bleachers we all used to sit on that was just off to the side of the field. That's where we all used to come to hang out.
Thomas Moran was discovered in a Medford park on April 28, 1994. That was Columbus Park. He had 79 stab wounds and a gunshot to the face. Now, according to the facts of the case, Tommy Moran, the victim of this case, was hanging out with Jerry Sullivan, Jeff Hardy, Richie Allison, and Christopher Ragovich on the night of the crime. They were smoking PCP, they were drinking, and they were riding around the city. Tommy Moran kept on disrespecting Jeff Hardy and Jerry, calling them chumps, just breaking the code of the neighborhood. In that time, it was like basically Irish mobsterism. You know, you had Howie Winters over there. You had a lot of the Irish crews running around, and gangsterism was a thing. These kids were affected by the cultural norms of their neighborhood. High on PCP, it would have been extremely easy for 3 young kids under 21 years old to think that it was not just okay, but cool to kill and try to decapitate Tommy Moran right here in this field. The fact is that Jeff Hardy got parole, and it's causing an uproar in the community, which is something I can't understand, because it's basically like saying that the criminal justice system was not actually meant to rehabilitate, that people are never meant to get out, and that they should just spend the rest of their lives in prison, despite the fact that the law states that they have the opportunity to see parole, which is nonsense, right? Jeff Hardy hasn't had a disciplinary report in more than 15 years. He's been sober for 29 years. He's done things inside of prison that not many people will do. He doesn't deserve to spend the rest of his life in prison, as well as the fact that Richie Allison, someone who all 3 defendants state really didn't have anything else to do with the murder, is going to be spending the rest of his life in prison without the chance of parole, because he was over 20 years old in this situation, I believe.
And back then, when this was all happened, did you ever like hang out with Jerry or encounter them guys out here when you were hanging out?
No, I never hung out with Jerry or Jeff or Richie or any of them. I was like a generation younger than them, but like, you know, you'd see them around and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but they did their own thing. They had their tight-knit group of friends. They kept their circle small, you know?
Yeah.
Which back then wasn't a bad thing.
Right. Were they like out of the norm type troublemakers, or were they just the average kid in Somerville?
I would say they weren't really any different than anyone else.
Yeah.
Like if they were up to something, people, when they got up to shit, they got up to shit. But like they were a really tight-knit group of friends, and and they rode out for each other.
Where that's how it should be.
And that's what they did. They, if one of them was going, all of them were going.
Yeah.
And that was the way it went. I had my tight-knit group of friends too. It was just all the younger kids like me from the projects.
And Dust had a big role out here in the city, huh?
Dust ran rampant through Charlestown and Somerville back then.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure, there's some truth to it. Jerry and Jeff, they did their thing with it. And I know that they probably had a hand in a lot of the dust that was around here. And
yeah.
That was a big hustle back then. Dust was a big hustle here back then.
It's kind of the culture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy Eddie.
Crazy Eddy?
I guess that's what they called it.
Oh,
okay. I didn't smoke it until I was, I think I was, the first time I tried dust, I think I was 14 or 15.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. I got stuck up on Broadway at a bus stop. And every time I went to move, my whole body started shaking.
Angel Dust. I don't know nothing about that. I think that was more of a California thing, right? I mean, when I started coming up, I was born in 74. I went through the crack epidemic, the heroin epidemic, you know, all the way through the Suboxone. It's not me personally, but.
So I'd have to sit back down.
No, it's what we would call a street drug because of its high level of danger, high level of toxicity.
And sir, is PCP what's called a controlled substance like cocaine or heroin?
Yes, and it goes by the name phencyclidine, but on the street, it's sometimes referred to as angel dust, things like that.
Interesting. According to drugs.com, quote, even small doses can lead to a distortion of sights, colors, sounds, self, and one's environment. Sounds pretty trippy. Sadly, though, PCP has a darker side as well. In addition to the side effects mentioned earlier, taking even a tiny bit too much can cause severe problems. Users can very quickly experience aggressive mood changes accompanied by exceptionally violent behavior, nausea, and vomiting, as well as a loss of balance, seizures, coma, and potentially even death. Furthermore, due to its dissociative and anesthetic properties, people who are high on PCP often believe they have almost godlike abilities, such as superhuman strength or indestructibility, which can be problematic.
So that's why you just say no.
It's been well researched in peer-reviewed articles and hospital data and the National Institute on Drug Abuse that people who ingest PCP very frequently experience what's called PCP-induced amnesia, which means that they forget the experience. Some individuals forget the experience completely while they're intoxicated, so while the drug is in their system, and some individuals experience partial amnesia. So while they're intoxicated, they do not remember part of that period of time. They have no recollection of it.
Dust was crazy, dude. Like the feeling you got, especially if you got if you were an angry person and you got the rage feeling on that shit, you could fight anybody and not feel a thing.
Right.
You could get beat to shit with stickball bats and everything, and you would just keep going. Like you just wouldn't feel it until the next day or the day after. Then you would feel it. But
sets in.
yeah, all the shit that's in that was embalming fluid. All types of crazy shit went into dust.
Again,
Tommy Moran.
Tommy Moran.
No, he was like I said, he was one of the older kids, like a generation above me. Like I hung out. I think it was his nephew, Mikey Wynn, Moran. Was what he goes by now.
Yeah.
But I hung out with him and that generation of kids, and you know when it happened, I didn't even. Because I was in so much trouble back then, in and out of DYSs and in and out of foster homes. Like I didn't know till I came back to Somerville with my dad when he got custody of us. Like I had no clue.
And when you went upstate, did you ever like bump into them guys talking to them and shit? I mean, I know you did. No, it's Jerry, Jeff, all them. Yeah, good.
I was
dudes,
on blocks with Jerry, and I was in DDU with Jeff, and
they're really good dudes, man. And as far as like Jeff, he's a very intelligent kid, and you know what I mean? Like I feel like people deserve a second chance.
Jeff
you know
was always like, you know, from all the, you know, my sister and stuff like that. She's a generation older than me, so that like they hung in the same circles. I don't know if my sister ever hung out with them, but they hung in the same circles. And everything I ever heard of Jeff was always that he was a really smart kid.
Yeah.
No matter what it came to.
Yeah.
Like if it was getting into shit, like I heard he was a good planner, and you know he would do his homework on shit.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure he was even like that, you know, upstate.
Yeah.
You know, he was always the type to think about what he was doing. He didn't just act on a whim, you know.
Right. No, he was definitely a smart dude.
Unless it was forced, unless it was like time to act, and like if it's just something popped off. Like,
right.
He wasn't a punk. He wasn't a lame. He didn't back down.
Serious dude with serious
Jerry,
reputation.
same way. Never backed down. He wasn't a fucking punk. He wasn't a lame.
Yeah.
He stood up for what he stood up for, and that was it.
I feel like, what do you think about second chances? How do you feel about second chances?
I don't believe anyone except like it's pedophiles and rapists, skinners and shit like that I think should spend the rest of their lives in prison.
Yeah.
No man or no woman that commits a crime, you can't put a cap on how long it takes to rehabilitate somebody.
Yeah.
So no one deserves to do the rest of their life in prison for whether it's murder or home invasion or whatever crime it is. unless it's against a child or a woman.
Right.
And then I can, and even in some circumstances with that, I don't believe in, the rest of your life in.
I mean, makes a good point, and that brings me up to Eddie O'Brien. The kid was 15. Now let's just go out on a whim and say Eddie did it, right? Let's just say Eddie did it. Eddie already served 30 years. We see, convicts do less time and get out for a red rum charge. Now, Eddie O'Brien was 15 years old when he was first incarcerated. 30 years is a long time, and for someone that never had a ticket for any violent outbursts in the Department of Corrections. So it's a shame.
Prison.
Yeah.
Like what they're doing with the juvenile age now. Like, I think that's the best thing to happen to Massachusetts in a long time, because the justice system here has been skewed and fucked up for so long. Like, the justice system here doesn't give a fuck if you're innocent. All they give a fuck is about that dollar sign.
Right.
All they give a fuck about is putting people away.
If you change a man's surroundings and incentives, they could be a good person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Because this all used to be like grass and like dirt. This whole field. There never used to be fences. None of this shit was here. These dugouts and stuff like that. Scoreboards all new.
And Somerville, as far as like talking to the police, you think like these
Back
houses,
then?
all these people here, even if they did see something, wouldn't say nothing.
Back then, I don't think anyone was saying a word. I know when they picked up that case and got arrested for the alleged crime, I know that around that time, like I'm pretty sure it was the 90s. So, I mean, by then, the code of silence was pretty much, a dead issue by then. But
right.
I know before that, it could be a fucking kid throwing a rock at a car. And if the police came, no one saw nothing.
Right.
No one saw nothing. Even all our parents growing up, like you don't tell on no one.
Yep.
You don't even tell on your brothers and sisters. I don't want to hear shit about you. You don't be a tattletale. That's what it was back then. Don't be a tattletale.
Yeah.
So it was ingrained in us from a young age.
But somewhere along the line,
what's up, guys?
People started believing somewhere along the line, people just started believing the fairy tale, that the justice system has a moral compass. That it's out here spreading, the good guys from the bad guys, which isn't true. The innocent from the guilty, man, wolves are wolves and sheep are sheep. And that's all it's ever going to be. Just trying to make my screen a little smaller. But the justice system don't care if you're innocent. It cares if you're manageable. It cares if they can convict you. It cares if you're convenient, right? But that's the part nobody wants to say out loud. The myth of innocent people until proven guilty, that is a myth. We all grow up hearing that shit, right? Like it was gospel. But in the real world, that's not how it plays out. In the real world, you're judged by where you live. You're judged by your skin color. You're judged by your record. You're judged by your attitude. You're judged by your bank account. Your ability to hire someone who knows how to speak the system's language. You don't have money. You catch a charge. You screwed. You are totally screwed if you don't have money. Innocent till proven guilty. Listen, it sounds good on paper. But paper doesn't get arrested, right? People do. And once the system has its hands on you, right? Once the system has its grip on you, innocent becomes a luxury, right? Not a guarantee. Because the part that nobody wants to admit. The part that nobody wants to admit. The justice system is a machine. That's all it is. It's a machine. And machines don't care about feelings, right? They care about what they're putting out. Prosecutors want what? They want convictions. Police want fast answers, right? Judges want to clear their dockets. Politicians, they want the numbers so they can brag about, you know, how many convictions they ended up getting in their area. I mean, truth, yeah, that shit's optional. If the truth lines up with the narrative, great. If it doesn't, they will figure that shit out. Because they'll build the narrative that looks like truth and hope nobody asks too many questions. Because the system is not designed to find the truth. It's not. It's not designed to get to the truth. It's designed to process bodies. The system is designed basically to store livestock, you being the livestock. Because innocent doesn't fit the business model. It just don't. If we talk about incentives, right, there's no reward for freeing an innocent person. There's no bonus for saying you made a mistake. And there's definitely no promotion for saying we got it wrong. They're never going to say we got it wrong. But they get rewarded for what? For high conviction rates, for fast plea deals, tough on crime. You know, they get to clear the books. They get to close cases. So what happens? People get pressured into plea bargains that they shouldn't even take. You know, imagine getting pressured into a plea bargain and you know you didn't do it, but guess what? You got no shot of taking a case to trial. That's why like 90, probably 92, 93, probably even 98% of cases that go through the criminal courts are plea bargained out. Hardly anybody goes to trial. Going to trial is very, very expensive for you. Evidence gets ignored because it's inconvenient, right? There's no such thing as the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, because we see in a Karen Read trial, they wouldn't let a lot of evidence into the trial, and that is truth. That's the truth that we are trying to get across to the jury. But you won't let us get to the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. You won't let us get to that. Oh, no, you can't talk about that. Oh, no, you can't talk about that. Do a social experiment. Go into a courthouse one day and just observe. Go in there after like a long holiday weekend and just sit in the courtroom that's doing all the arraignments. And you'll see, if you got money, most likely you're getting out. If you don't have money, you're staying locked up. Don't forget, if you like the content, because, you know, I'm going to have to give the monetization up to, you know, the show I'm watching. But if you like the content, you know, send a super chat, you know, get a membership. You know, I would just rather you get memberships over super chats, but whatever your pleasure, just, you know, hook your boy up. Now I got a hospital bill I got to pay.
Hope you're liking the video so far. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and become a member for $2.99. And for this next part of the video, I wanted to bring in a local expert on the underworld and crime.
Guys beat him half to death. Nobody knew it at the time, but one of the worst gang wars in Boston history was about to begin because of this incident. Georgie was found in one of the winding alleys on Salisbury Beach and was brought to Anna Jake's Hospital in Newburyport, where he convalesced for about a month. His brother Bernie, the de facto boss of the Charlestown crew, came to Buddy McLean after the incident. Buddy was well respected by everyone in Somerville and beyond, and people in the crew looked to him for direction. Bernie demanded that Buddy give up the men who beat his brother and put him in the hospital. Buddy stated that he could not do that. Georgie was in the wrong, and Galway was coming to him, more or less. Bernie did not like this and stormed off. Very shortly after, Buddy was awoken in the middle of the night by his 2 German shepherds barking. He looked out the window and saw a group of men around his car. He retrieved his German Luger and let a couple rounds go, dispersing the men. A few hours later, around 6 a.m., a neighbor called the police, who came to Buddy's house. When Buddy came out to talk to the cop, he noticed the hood of his car was ajar and dynamite was dangling from underneath the engine. The deadly Charlestown crew had tried to plant a car bomb on Buddy's car in the tightly packed dead-end street of Snow Terrace in Winter Hill. Only Buddy wasn't going to drive the car that day. His wife and all his kids were. He told the cop, "Put away that notebook. I'll take care of it myself." On Halloween 1961 at high noon, Buddy executed Bernie McLaughlin in Charlestown Square in front of 100 people, but nobody saw a thing. There was no turning back now. The Boston Irish Gang War had begun. What started out as a beef between Somerville and Charlestown soon got every crew in the Boston area involved, even the Italian Mafia. Joe Barbosa's East Boston crew was a firm Winter Hill ally.
Joe Barbosa was the one that testified against Raymond Patriarca. I think he was part of the Patriarca family. So was Cadillac Salemi.
Wimpy Bennett's Roxbury crew switched sides during the conflict. Originally, they were on the McLaughlin side, but when the tide started to turn, they switched allegiance to Winter Hill. Typical behavior for the treacherous Wimpy Bennett. Then Raymond Patriarca, the mafia boss of New England, threatened to declare martial law in Boston if the fighting did not stop. No money could be earned while the conflict didn't.
Oh, they didn't play when it came to Raymond, because Raymond is the New England, boss. He's boss of all New England, and you just didn't want to mess with a guy like Raymond Patriarca. They said he had the third biggest Costa Nostra outfit in the country. Raymond was actually part of the original commission as well.
Sued. Eventually, after the whole city turned against them, the entire Charlestown crew was wiped off the face of the earth. Bernie got killed on Halloween 1961. His older brother, Punchy, after 2 failed attempts, one where they blew his hand clean off, was taken out on the 3rd try at a bus stop in West Roxbury by Stevie Flemmi and Frank Salemi. Punchy was going to his brother Georgie's trial when he was unalived. Georgie ended up being sentenced to life for probably the one crime he actually did not commit. Both of the feared Hughes brothers, Connie and Stevie, were finally hunted down and taken out, destroying the entire crew. But before the Hughes were caught, they got a huge prize. 4 years to the day when Bernie was killed on Halloween 1965, Stevie Hughes caught the Winter Hill boss coming out of a bar in Somerville. He hit his 2 bodyguards and took out the leader of the Winter Hill gang, Buddy McLean. The loss was felt throughout the Boston underworld. A hesitant Howie Winter stepped up into the leadership role. After the dust settled from the Irish Gang War of the 1960s, about 60 men had lost their lives. Joe Barbosa's crew were all whacked by the North End, and he became an informant for the FBI. They actually created the Witness Protection Program for Barbosa, and they kept him at the lighthouse keeper's house on Thatcher's Island in Rockport during the trials that he testified in. Frank Salemi and Steve Flemmi whacked their boss, Wimpy Bennett, and his brothers. After consolidating Wimpy's rackets, Salemi pursued the mafia while Flemmi became aligned with the Winter Hill crew. After the gang war, the Boston underworld was dominated by the Italian mafia, which was run by Jerry Angiulo in the North End, Raymond Patriarca's underboss. And the Winter Hill gang was firmly the second most powerful organized crime group in the area. Throughout the late 1960s and early 1970s, the core of Winter Hill was the leader Howie Winter, the feared triggerman Joe McDonald, who survived being on a sunken Navy ship in the Pacific during World War II. And then there was McDonald's best friend, and as legend has it, the best wheelman/driver in the city, Jimmy. Then, of course, there was one of the most feared hitmen in Boston's history, with well over 20 bodies, Johnny Morano. Morano wasn't from Somerville, but as an orphan in the Boston streets after the 1960s conflict, he ended up hooking up with the Winter Hill crew and became very close friends with the leader, Howie Winter. Morano came up under legendary killers like Joe Barbosa and Jimmy the Bear Flemmi. The Winter Hill crew got heavily involved in bookmaking, especially sports betting. The only thing was, they weren't very good at it. Soon they were in debt to mafia underboss Jerry Angiulo for over $100K, paying out bets they had lost. Although they weren't very good at bookmaking, what they had plenty of was muscle. Angiulo had a proposition for them. He was having a problem with this upstart from Medford, Indian Al Angeli, and his crew. They were stepping on Angiulo's toes, and they crossed the line when they'd whacked a North End protected bookie, Paulie Foligno. If Winter Hill took care of Indian Al and his renegade crew, Angiulo would forgive the $100,000 debt. The Winter Hill crew set to work and systematically took out every single member of Indian Al's crew. Between the lethal Moderano and the fear Joe McDonald, they made easy work of the entire crew. Indian Al managed to escape and went on the lam, but was lured back by Angiulo, saying that if he would be forgiven if he paid $50,000 and then went away forever. Unfortunately for Indian Al, though, he was whacked and then they took his money. Angiulo was grateful to Winter Hill and forgave their loan, but now Angiulo was also uneasy of the growing strength of the Winter Hill crew. They were beginning to rival the mafia's power in his mind. At their height, they were so powerful that when New York gangsters connected to the five families came to Somerville to collect a large debt, Howie Winter assembled about 15 men at their headquarters at Marshall Motors on Winter Hill. When the men came to press Howie Winter, they were so intimidated that they left empty-handed and they forgave the debt. The crew's reign ended in 1979 when Fat Tony Shula got caught up in a horse racing fix scandal and told on the entire crew. Only hanger-on Steve Flemmi and the brand new Whitey Bulger were magically left off the indictment. They then consolidated the crew's rackets and moved the headquarters over to Lancaster Street, down the street from the Boston Garden. And the rest is history.
We're out here in front of Howie Winter's headquarters, where the Winter Hill gang ran Somerville and the greater Boston area. I would say with an iron fist, but it wasn't exactly like that, man. They had a lot of pull, a lot of sway, but the Italians also did too. Inside of here, I've seen videos and explanations from the greatest rats in the Boston fucking crime genre, telling basically exactly what happened and what they did inside here.
They operated out of this old body shop, long since abandoned, but Whitey Bulger's chair is still there.
These are the rooms you don't want to go in.
So is his old office.
I think that's the trap door for the cellar. Used to leave that open all the time, just intimidate people, try to get the truth out of them.
Oh, yeah?
People would look down there and just wonder.
Anybody go down there and never come up?
I think so, yeah.
That's a nice little touch. By 1978, Martirano had already killed 18 people.
A lot of ghosts, a lot of bodies, a lot of like really terrible things happen within these walls. And
So when you were a kid, they were here?
Yeah, I used to hang out. See the greenhouse down the street?
Yeah.
Right around there, we used to hang out on the stoop. And we used to see them over here all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. They'd be out front, standing at the front of this driveway. There'd be some over here. You know, you just always see guys around, and they didn't look like they were mechanics. You know what I mean?
Hey, and
So, yeah.
The thing is did they even have that reputation yet? Did guys even know like this is gonna be like Whitey Bulger, the Whitey Bulger?
Oh yeah, he was known by then. And we heard stories from our parents, you know what I mean? Like if you ever see those guys, you stay away. You know, like every other parent on the planet would be worried about their kids.
What kind of like things did you think they used to do over here?
When we were kids, we didn't really think much, but like, you know, after hearing stories from parents and, you know, other people's parents, like you ended up knowing what they were up to. Like this was a base of operation. This was, you know, like almost like ground zero for, you know, money, drugs. And Howie Winters was always smart. He was always, you know, he did his thing. And everybody in Somerville knows who Howie Winters was.
Yeah.
And he was Howie Winters until the day he died.
Right.
He did time. He did his time. He kept his mouth shut. He never said anything. He never, you know what I mean? You never hear in any books or stories like any of those Whitey Bulger books. Like you may see, you know, Howie Winters' name mentioned a time or two, but you never heard anything like him telling or him taking a stand or none of that.
Right.
That's Foss Park right there.
Yep.
I didn't know there was MS-13s in Park.
So what? So I arrested for it after a bunch of people went down there and fucked them all up.
That's crazy.
So where we at right now? This is Winter Hill Market. I
This is
see that.
Winter Hill Market. It used to, back in the day, it used to be like a Christie's. But then, you know, they turned it into Winter Hill Market. You know, the family bought it, you know, some outsiders. And decided to use a name that they don't deserve to use because they're not from here.
Right.
But we're going to head over to Foss Park. It's where all of us from the projects used to go to swim in the pool in the summer, hang out at night. You know, come down here, sit on. There used to be a big wooden, like, playground, like big ass wooden structure we all used to hang out on, and sit around at night, smoke weed and drink beers. We drank all over the city. We'd find any park we could fucking hide in and get shit-faced, get stoned.
I'm sure if it's anything like where I grew up, it's the same shit. Anywhere we could get away with it at the
kids
time.
could get into mischief, we got into mischief. This was the public pool we used to swim in, where you see all the murals painted on the building.
Yeah.
It's where all the locker rooms and showers and stuff are.
Well,
see what I mean?
Yeah, different type of people out here now.
Yeah. I've seen a motherfucker like that back here back then.
Probably get robbed,
No,
right?
he was getting, he was walking home naked.
Also, there was another thing, terrible thing that happened over here in Foss Park. This is, you know, we won't say the last name for the purposes of what happened, but Brian S's sister ended up getting attacked and raped by the MS-13s that are, you know, not natural to this city, right?
No.
Yeah.
Hell no. Brian S's sister, I believe she had multiple sclerosis and she was in a wheelchair.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
And what they did was they kicked her wheelchair over and they like brutally gang raped her in the middle of this park.
Brian Savoyage was a man that me and Sean Doyle were both in Massachusetts State Prison with in Sousa Baranowski Correctional Center. His sister was actually the victim of a brutal rape by the MS-13 gang members in Somerville, Massachusetts. I had never known the depth of the situation, and I could only imagine what Brian went through in his mind being locked up around other people who were Latino gang members. It would have drove me crazy. But the story goes something like this. In 2002, Foss Park in Somerville became the scene of one of the most disturbing crimes in the history of Somerville. Two teenage girls who were both hearing impaired, and one of them had cerebral palsy and used a wheelchair, were in the park when they were approached by a group of young men. What followed was a brutal sexual assault. Investigators later identified 3 suspects, Jose Ortiz, Carlos Escobar, and Jesus Pleiades. Authorities linked the group to the gang MS-13, also known as Mara Salvatrucha, a transnational gang with a growing presence in Massachusetts at the time. All 3 were charged with serious felonies, including aggravated rape, rape of a child, and assault with intent to rape. The attacks sent shockwaves through Somerville. It wasn't just the brutality of the crime, it was who the victims were. 2 vulnerable teenagers targeted in a public park. The case became one of the most well-known examples of MS-13 activity in the Boston area, raising serious questions about gang violence, public safety, and how crimes like this could happen in a plain sight. And more than 2 decades later, it remains a defining moment in the history of Foss Park. In turn, led to all these different gang policies that got passed and legislation that got passed on gang violence and people who are in gangs and the way that they're treated by the police and the community in general, encouraging young kids and adults alike to call if they see tagging, people wearing bandanas, large groups of immigrants hanging out at corners, things like this. And it gave the police a right to search, seize, and also disperse, what they call disperse, young kids or any kids who were seen gathering in local areas. No gangs that come from our area were doing anything like this. This is just unheard of, where they allow their gang members to not only have these types of charges, but, you know, they encourage them to commit them in order to get down with the gang. This is just absolutely disgusting. And anybody
forming a gang, if you're that dumb that you really think that forming a gang in 2026 is the right way to go, please don't make that as your introduction to the gang, because I'm going to tell you this right now. If you go to a prison around here, you're going to get stabbed, beat severely, and going to live in a protective custody unit where other people just like that are there, right? And not only that, you're not going to be accepted by any other gangs in the area. Nobody accepts MS-13 not only on the units in prison, but on the blocks out in the street. If you're known as an MS-13, you're going to be attacked or killed. Like how that proves courage, I have no idea. But this is the scene of all this madness.
When people found out, what happened, a big group of fucking, lifelong Somerville residents came down here and cleaned house.
Yeah.
Cleaned house in a big way.
Did they end up arresting those people?
Yeah, a couple of them got arrested and got bids. And when they went upstate,
in Massachusetts, huh?
Yeah.
They gotta be in PC.
Yeah, and when they went upstate, they didn't fare too well.
That's horrible, man.
But all these MS-13 people started hanging out in this park, and they'd be playing soccer and, doing whatever they do. And I guess back then, the thing for an MS-13 member to get down and be part of the gang was to either rape someone or kill someone. And all those cowards, all them pussy fucking cowards, decided to take a girl that was in a wheelchair, kick the fucking wheelchair over, put her on the ground, and rape her in the park.
That's so fucking sick. It's like, I don't know, man.
But that's how
you got to be a certain type of person.
But that's just one example. It's a horrible example to use, but that's just one of the examples of how Somerville showed up for its own.
Yeah.
Because when people found out, they came down here deep and put.
Well, that is freaking crazy, dude. That shit to someone in a wheelchair. What are we thinking about? If you like the content, there's some goals up there. I only got 5 goals. Well, they'll be up there in a minute. Hit the goals, super chats, memberships. Help your boy out. He's going to be out of work for about a week or 2. God damn.
Put in work, not just on who was it. No one got pointed out. They put in work on every motherfucker that was in this park that night.
Right.
And fucking, that was it.
He said they put.
Hey, have you been around a while around Foss? Have you been around a while this area?
For a bit.
I grew up here, right? When did they do the turf for the football fields?
At least a couple years. Yeah.
They have the Bonner games now.
Yeah, they do a lot of the practices there at least. Yeah.
When I was a kid, we just had this.
What part of this has changed?
Just a football. And there used to be playgrounds over there. It used to just be like a wooden structure. Now it's like one of those new playgrounds. But all this is still the same. All of this still the same. Even the street, all the houses.
Did you used to come play here as a kid?
Yeah. I played Pop Warner here. Played for the Somerville Packers. They were a Somerville football team that had a Green Bay Packers uniform.
Hell yeah.
It's an old school Sicilian Italian family. The original owners of it aren't around anymore. They've passed, but they've passed it down to their children. And they're still.
Pizza and Sully's fit for a king. Fact. I like the sound of that.
This is the pizza shop.
Yes.
I grew up in, dude. Used to come in here every day after school and stop and get a slice.
Yes.
Here's your big bag of barbecue.
Right.
Fork and a knife. Some napkins.
I love this city so far, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, people don't understand. There's mad history in Somerville.
Hell yeah, bro.
Somerville has shit, dude. Paul Revere rode right up this road we're on Broadway on a fucking horse yelling, "The redcoats are coming, the redcoats are coming."
Oh, I already know.
They got a whole square dedicated to him up there. Paul Revere Square. This fucking city is rife with fucking history, bro.
Hell yeah.
People say, find a sink, lean all the way back, and then smash your head on it. Go check that out over on Podcast,
No
W
smoking
Numbers
in the back.
podcast. It's on YouTube. You know, he has a lot of good shows about what goes on inside the joint, you know, inside prison, you know. But let's check out some Dirty Cops. Let's see what's going on here. Dirty Cops Exposed.
Mr. Chapman went in my money. He separated my money. He was trying to steal it, and I caught him.
On March 14, 2022, a Charlotte police officer arrested a suspect and took him to the precinct. The suspect had been speeding and had an active arrest warrant. Upon arrival at the station, the suspect noticed that after the cops took his belongings for safekeeping, something was missing.
Can y'all I don't know the protocol with that, but like, can y'all check y'all like his person? Because like, if anything is on him, like, it would be big. No, I don't. Look, I'm gonna show you right here. Look at me. Look at me. All of you guys are having that kids out. Look, so look, this is all I want to explain to you guys. Most of the time, when somebody know they didn't like.
So check it out. The man in the red is accusing the arresting officer of stealing money. Do you think he stole the money, or is it all cap?
Somebody knows for a fact they didn't do anything, they're not gonna just, you know what I'm saying, like let you search them. And I don't have kids, you know what I'm saying, but I know how that goes because my mom did foster care. So I'm like up to par with all of that. And on top of that, if I didn't do anything, like how me and you've been talking the whole time, yes, just like that me and you was talking the whole time, if I didn't do anything, I have nothing that I'm worried about. You know what I'm saying? There would be no reason for him to show me his pockets and stuff. Like I know for a fact. No, I want you to feel comfortable. I would have felt comfortable if your colleagues would have searched you at the exact time where I knew where the money was. And I seen you kept going in between your legs. And then every time everybody put all of the attention on me, you kept moving. I don't know if it's in your door. I don't know where it's at. But just like, look, I don't even care to find the money. But
The suspect was right about one thing. No innocent person would probably feel the need to empty his pockets to prove he didn't steal. But as the argument continued, a police sergeant stepped in. This gave the clever suspect a chance to expose the corrupt.
for a fact that I'm right. Come here. Do you mind if I move? Come here. I'll tell you. I want you to hold me so you know that. Okay. Do you see anything? No, yeah. I'm not even gonna touch it. It's blue hundreds right here. It's all the blue hundreds are right there behind that receipt. Thank you. All that's my money. He didn't have that. This is your money? Yes, I heard him crumble it up. Thank you. All that's been recorded, right?
Busted.
That's my money right there.
Busted.
Sir, you can watch me now.
Busted. The friggin' cop got busted stealing the money. Gotta love when that shit happens. Busted. He took the money on camera. Busted. Wow, what a disgrace. What a disgrace. My friggin' screen is like, I can't get the whole image on screen.
Okay, I seen you take it. I seen you come. Sir, that is not me. If I'm right, it's gonna be around $1,000. If I'm right, and like I told you, I just went to Wendy's. I seen you steal. No, sir. If you don't mind, I just want to sit down so y'all don't try to say I'm resistant. I don't want to do nothing. All I know for a fact is I know what I know and I seen it. I just wanted you guys to trust me. You feel what I'm saying? That's why I was just acting a little irate, but I'm perfectly fine. You feel what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to expose you. That is not me, bud. Brother, I just seen you steal my money. There was no reason for me to pop my rubber band, brother. There was no reason for me to pop my rubber band off my money. I didn't pop your rubber band off your money.
It was disgraceful enough that the police officer was caught in such misconduct. It was even worse that he denied it after being caught red-handed. The situation worsened when the receipt the suspect had mentioned was found with the stolen money. This receipt served as the undeniable proof of theft.
I just witnessed here today, Mr. Chapman went.
And his receipt was still with the money. Oh man, that cop gotta feel like that friggin' big. Wow.
In my money. He separated my money. He was trying to steal it and I caught him. He put it in between his legs and as his colleagues approached me, he worked it towards the door. He tried to make it seem like I was lying. I'm not going anywhere. I'm in full custody of these officers. I'm being detained. I'm not going anywhere. I don't want any problems. I'm not armed. I didn't do anything wrong. I was just pulled over for a traffic stop. He just tried to steal some of my money.
Okay, we're hearing you, but there's no need to say all of
No,
that.
I was just looking at the camera. No, I just know how it goes. You feel what I'm saying? I don't want to cause.
My camera's on the entire
Yes, ma'am.
time. All right,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
let's take it down a notch.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize. I'm
We're
so sorry.
good here.
Yes, ma'am. So what are we gonna do about this problem? Because he just tried to steal some of my money.
sir,
And I'm
I
not
did
trying
not.
to put any allegations on him. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm not using my words like to try to hurt anybody. I just know what I know. And like the fact, but I know you guys have like special protocol. I don't even like the fact that he just tried to steal and nobody like stood up for him. You feel what I'm saying? Like nobody was like, okay.
Nobody saw anything
But I
that you were
seen
saying,
everything.
but nobody saw anything that you said.
I appreciate it, Mr. Moore. You his sergeant.
Yes, he is my sergeant.
Sir, I have 20/20 and I can read. I remember when you called him out. I can tell you everything he said to you. Perfect timing. This was perfect. Perfect that you called me out this time because you didn't know the protocol to how a federal warrant was supposed to be taken care of. Correct? Incorrect.
That's correct. That's
I
just
know,
why
I
I called him out to ask.
But you just separate. Whoa, so what was the purpose of you separating my money while you gave her money while you just watched her count my money out in full? Because you just wasted an evidence. You wasted an evidence pool. Because now she has to rewrite a totally different number. So if I would have agreed to the number that I didn't know when she asked me, then I would have been like ridiculed or seen as a liar.
And with Officer Chapman's guilt now undeniable, there was only one possible outcome.
Wasn't stealing it. I did take it out, and I forgot I put it in the damn door.
Well, I'll probably go talk to the sergeant.
I am going to talk to someone.
Yeah, I'll go talk to him. Okay. So, like, this is what's going to happen.
He said, I forgot I put it in the door. Cop got busted. Muscles have no brains and neither do badges. Absolutely.
All right, we have people coming in. Obviously, they have to talk to you. All right. So, I want to hold on to your weapon right quick. Okay. Sergeant Burke and one of the detectives will come and speak to you. All right. So, just chill out, relax. Do you need anything?
No, I just want to apologize to everyone. I say, man, one of these things, dude. I'm sorry.
And then your feet towards me. That's going to be the most comfortable for you.
Fortunately, officer, arrested.
For allowing him to maintain his innocence while accepting the judge's punishment. As a result, he was sentenced to 2 years of probation. But the officer in the next case did the exact opposite of stealing from a suspect.
It's a little bit of weed. That's probably why he was bugging out, because he had a little weed on him. So this little marijuana in the jag, which is probably why he was out.
On March 13, 2018, two NYPD officers, Kyle Erickson and Elmer Pastren, stopped 30-year-old Jason Serrano. Serrano was being driven home by a friend from the hospital in Staten Island when he was stopped for a broken taillight. However, it became clear that the officers had other motives beyond just a minor traffic violation.
Car smells like marijuana, so we're going to check it. All right? Fix it. If there's nothing in the car, you'll be good to go. All right? If there's something in the car, just let me know now. I appreciate it, honestly, okay?
The female driver got out of the car. The male passenger stayed inside, explaining he was in severe pain from recent stab wounds.
I don't want to see that right now, okay?
Even with his injuries, Jason was forcefully pulled from the car.
We need to check the car, so I need you to hop out.
Okay, I'm getting up.
Okay.
Relax.
Stepping out of the car wasn't enough for the officers. They insisted he hand over his jacket for suspicious reasons, which would soon become evident.
No, once he checks, he'll hand it back to you. He's got to check. It's our job, bro. Yeah, I'll get it for you. Just let him check real quick. And then...
There's nothing in my jacket. I'm not going to search for a reason.
I don't have nothing in my jacket. I'm not. Okay, well, he's gonna check it. I don't have nothing in. No, relax. No, I don't need. This situation is about to escalate for no reason. No, because I didn't do nothing. It was in the car. No, this is on me. It's my possession. No, you need to relax. It's my possession. You need to relax. It's my possession. One answer, David. No, relax. Yo. It's my possession. Relax, bro. Yeah, let me get one additional to 207 Broad Street. No, it's not. Come on.
Relax. Relax. Relax.
Back on. Take it down.
Relax.
No, yeah. Put that jacket down right now.
Put the jacket down.
Despite Jason's claims of being in severe pain, the officers threw him to the ground and manhandled him. They eventually seized his jacket as more officers arrived at the scene.
Search the rest of the car. Yeah, we gotta find something. Actually, I'll let you check. Yeah, there's my flashlight. I'll stay with him.
As other officers restrained the visibly pained suspect, Erickson and Pastrin whispered urgently, "They need to find something." They searched the jacket and the car. After an extensive search, they found nothing.
Imagine a dirty ass cop. We gotta find something. That's despicable.
And their growing frustration was clear in their voices.
Should I search the whole thing? Yeah, search the whole thing.
The officer continued his search. Then a supervisor arrived and started asking questions.
We stopped the car for a taillight. The car smelled like marijuana. We asked him to step out of the vehicle. He tried to grab a jacket that was in the vehicle. We told him to leave it there. He got combative with us, so we did a forcible takedown, and no strikes were thrown. I already called the bus for him. You safe? No, we're good, sir. He's searching the car. No, keep her out of the car. You have any bees on you? No. Sorry. Yeah. I don't know why you got like that then.
The female driver started to get suspicious of the officer's actions, and she started to watch them closely.
I didn't watch him search my car. Cause like, what is he doing?
Man, stand back. You know. Sorry. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Under the watchful eyes of their supervisor and the female driver, the officers needed to move quickly. They drove the female driver away. While one officer observed, the other carried out their wicked plan.
It's a little bit of weed.
He planted drugs in the car's cup holder, but he didn't stop there. He also hid drugs in the man's jacket to further incriminate him.
It's weed flakes right there. Bingo. Bring the jacket with you. It's his anyways. Cut yourself. It might be weed, yeah. I want to get some of this, you know? Yeah. That's probably why he was bugging out, because he had a little weed on him. So there's a little marijuana in the jacket, which is probably why he was out. But bring the jacket with you. It's his jacket, so.
The officers were terrible actors, but they successfully carried out their plan. After planting the drugs in the jacket, they went on to present their findings to their supervisor.
There's a hole in that pocket where we found the little flakes of marijuana, so we're going to check the jacket more thoroughly back in the precinct.
See the rest evidence. On Jason's jacket. Then they handcuffed him to a hospital bed for 5 days. To avoid jail time, Jason pleaded guilty to resist arrest. This incident was just one example of a pattern of these officers' misconduct. They had tried to plant drugs on other victims in the past, but those victims had been alert enough to stop their plans. Jason Serrano was arrested, but the charges were dropped after the body cam footage proved he was innocent. He later received a $326,000 settlement. However, the NYPD dismissed the misconduct claims against the officer, even with strong evidence available. And while planting evidence is bad enough, laughing at a disabled war vet is not any better.
You guys made a guy pee himself? Yeah.
On June 10, 2023, retired U.S. Army Sergeant Daniil Lane faced a troubling situation at a Serious Pizza in Dallas. He was caught in an argument with two off-duty police officers working at the pizza place after he was denied bathroom access. They ignored him and even refused to look at his medical records or disability card he showed them. And that turned out to be a serious negligence. Lane had to retire from the Army due to serious combat injuries that led to a medical condition requiring potentially emergency bathroom access, which he was being denied. Feeling desperate, Lane called 911 for help. Unfortunately, the responding officers did not arrive in time. This left him with no choice but to endure the humiliation of soiling himself. When the officers finally arrived, Lane had already left. However, the arriving officers' conduct afterwards, alongside the off-duty security officers, was nothing short of disgraceful.
What you guys caught making that one call though? Somebody calling out why they pissed themselves. You
guys made a guy pee himself?
Yeah.
And then he calls back and said it's okay, he doesn't need PPE anymore because he soiled.
The body cam recording ends here, as the officers realized such a disrespectful act should not be recorded on camera. But the incident was far from over. The officers broke the Texas Restroom Access Act. This law mandates businesses to let customers with specific medical conditions use their restrooms. Sergeant Donnell Lane filed a complaint with the police department. The department investigated, but found no policy violations. However, the Community Police Oversight Board later stepped in and launched their own investigation, which still seems to be going on due to reported delays from the DPD. But unfortunately, such disrespect is not so uncommon. The next cop took the word insensitive to the entirely next level.
But she is.
On January 24, 2023, Seattle police officer Kevin Dave was responding to a high-priority call. He was driving at 74 miles per hour in a 25-mile-per-hour zone when something suddenly appeared in his path. Officer Dave couldn't stop in time when 23-year-old international student Janavi Kandula crossed his path. The collision propelled her 42 meters across the road, resulting in her immediate death.
Three Mary 2, started supervisor, start fire for a struck pedestrian. Negative, I'm going to be on Aurora.
As per police protocol, another officer, Daniel Ardur, was dispatched to check Officer Dave's sobriety. He confirmed Officer Dave wasn't intoxicated. However, while driving back and unaware his body cam was recording, Ardur, on a phone call with a fellow officer, made the most awful remarks ever caught on a police body cam.
But it does not seem like there's a criminal investigation going on. He's going 50. That's not out of control. That's not reckless for a trained driver. Initially, he said she was in a crosswalk. There's a witness that says, no, she wasn't. But that witness could be different because I don't think she was thrown 40 feet either. I think she went up on the hood, hit the windshield. Then when he hit the brakes, flew off the car. But she is dead. No, it's a regular person. Yeah. Yeah, just write a check. Just, yeah, $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
His insensitive remarks about the victim were recorded already. When the footage came out, Officer Ardur faced an internal investigation. He claimed he was being sarcastic and joking about lawyers, not the victim. In the end, both him and Officer Dave were fired from the police force. But in August 2024, Ardur in turn filed a $20 million lawsuit against the city for wrongful termination. And while Officer Ardur still probably believes he's innocent, the next cop was caught so red-handed, there's no doubt in his guilt.
All right, sir, step out of the vehicle for me.
On August 15, 2020, his name is Hare, was meant to transport a female suspect arrested for auto theft, who also had an active warrant on her name. Instead, he abandoned his duty to commit one of the most despicable acts imaginable by a law enforcement officer.
Well, you're not.
All right. I'm back. I had to go find this video, man. I had to go find the video. Don't forget, there's goals up there that you can hit. There's super chats. You know, hit me up on Venmo, Cash App. You know, your boy is hungry. Your boy is hungry. I could be out of work for, they say, a couple weeks. I'm like, no, I can't. I can't be out of work for a couple weeks. No. But let's go check out Aaron Hernandez. What happened, you know, when he's locked up, what goes on, you know, we'll have some more stuff by the W Number Podcast. This guy has some great content. We're just checking some content out today.
Boom, onto the tier, bro. And I'm like,
yeah, I don't know who left this here. I'm not really interested. I'm not taking it.
Troll. You could troll, but 2 super chats only.
Welcome back to the W Number, man. Today I got a fire store for you guys, right? I spent most of my time in maximum security prison.
Possibly 3, if not more, victims here. We're going up to HSU to evaluate one possibly with a broken jaw.
In all, 3 officers were transported to the hospital, while 6 inmates were removed from the unit and faced discipline. The prison put in lockdown. It's one of several recent incidents at the Souza Baranowski Correctional Facility that houses some 1,000 inmates. Last August, 5 officers were hospitalized following an assault. A similar incident had occurred.
See, the only thing they respect is the violence. The only thing they respect is the violence up in these places.
Occurred 1 year before that. In January of 2017, a riot broke out.
Up there, you will rarely ever see like homosexual activity. There was a few instances of it. I'll even give you those stories as well, right? Man, I've rarely ever seen it. Maybe 2 times in my whole bid up in the max. And I did 15 years total in that building, in that facility. Anything that's happened there, I've been there pretty much for all like the really major events and all the little ones like I'm about to talk about. But one day in 2018, I was sent to Old Colony Correctional Center, and I was not expecting to go there, nor was I expecting to see what I saw.
This can give Turtle Boy a perspective of what he's going to be walking into
when I got there. And this is from somebody that I actually knew. A lot of people actually knew him. And it's kind of wild, bro, right? To see somebody you know tricked by somebody that looked like a...
Lawyers are seeking a federal court order of protection for a transgender prison inmate who was allegedly forced to strip and perform sex on a cellmate.
Shemale, like this person from behind could look like a woman, but in front you can see the 5 o'clock shadow. And I'm just saying, man, like dudes fell in love. I'm gonna give you the whole story, but this shit's wild, dude, right? In the max, dudes. While I was up there, there was a certain period of time with this black man. He was gay. He was outright gay, like flamboyantly. And I know him very well. But he would fight. He would fight, right? Like if you disrespected him, he would fight. You want to get beat up by a gay dude, right? But it's like, you know, obviously if you have to beat him up, you have to beat him up. But you don't really see them going crazy like with the gay activity. Like dudes don't want to be in the cell with them. They don't want to be labeled as gay because this is a restricted activity throughout every gang in the max. No gang allows somebody who's doing homosexual behavior. They'll be instantly turned.
So Turtle Boy, you're not going to be eligible to get into a gang. You know, that sucks for Turtle, right? Damn, Turtle, you're not going to be eligible to get into... Damn.
Terminated, and this goes for Latin Kings, Bloods, Boyos, crazy white boys, whites, blacks, Spanish, Asians. It doesn't matter. You will be ostracized for that type of thing, right?
Needs yard. It's for inmates who are at risk in general population. Some of them because they dropped out of gangs. Here you can actually talk to some more interesting inmates, like Trixie.
When I decided to leave the gang,
Trixie,
I decided to work with this and find out myself, why do I like men? Why do I feel like a woman? Why this and this and that? And as I seen psychiatrists, psychologists, and all that, so I came to the conclusion that I am transgender.
Right.
let me ask you something. Chat, how do you feel about transgender? A man, a woman, a woman. You born a man, you always a man. You born a woman, you always a woman. How do you feel about that, chat? Put it in perspective. If a family member walks through the door and was like, hey, this is me, this is who I am, how do you feel about it?
And that's why I felt the way I felt.
So on top of your crime, you have
slapped with 15 years.
You have 15 years for being part of the gang.
You can be ostracized within. That's the whole thing. Like, no one's you're probably not gonna get checked off the block if you're not in a gang. Dude just probably won't fuck with you. But if you're in a gang, you're gonna get jumped and you're gonna get hurt, right? It's a forbidden act, like I said. So there was this white dude that we all fucked with. And I'll actually say his nickname because it's not his real name, but we called him Whitey. And, he was my boy. He was my boy in Worcester County, but I found out later on that he gave the knife to the king that stabbed me. And then when he got up there, he was acting self-important. You know what I mean? He jeffed with the cops a lot. Dudes were saying funny stuff about him. And it all turned out to be kind of true. Because, as a matter of fact, when I went to the medium, when all this other stuff was going on, he was down there again too, right? But Jasmine, that was the name of the black guy that was gay, right? So Jasmine's in the max, and Whitey's up there on the block with him in N2. Now, I come out to gym one day, and I got my boys all coming over to me because Whitey was claiming to be in the hooligans. I mean, I think he had dropped his numbers at this point, and the hooligans really weren't a thing at this time. I think there might be 2 guys up there that were claiming hooligans, right? And I wasn't one of them at the time. But Whitey went in the cell. They were telling me anyways, right? This is allegedly because I didn't see it with my own 2 eyes. But, when more than 5 people talk about it, it's probably pretty real if they saw it with their own 2 eyes. And these are people that I can trust. And I'm talking about convicts, people that don't gossip at all. There's not a lot of gossiping in the max. You know what I mean? Like, and if it is gossip, it's like, you're going to have to bring this to this person. Like, you have to go talk to this person. I don't think that's snitching. I think that's probably just doing the right thing. If someone's gossiping behind your back, putting a jacket on you or something like that, the right thing to do, if that's your boy, is go tell your boy, like, yo, this dude's running in his mouth. Or tell that dude, if you're going to say something like that to me about my friend, we're going to go together. You're going to tell him, I want to hear you say it to him and see what he has to say about this, right? And that's the way you conduct business. But it's typically honorable. You know what I mean? It used to be anyways, right? Used to be. This was when things were very solid. You could count on every single white dude in that yard to jump in the mix if there was a brawl, a race riot, or whatever, so be it. So they're telling me that he went in the cell, right, with this dude, but nobody knew it at the first. The curtain's up and the door's closed. And the whole wreck's going by. People are looking for him everywhere. They're like calling him. Nowhere to be found. All of a sudden, at the end of rec, he pops out of Jasmine's cell. And guys are like, yo, what are you doing in there? And now this is coming from somebody who told me outright he was bisexual. And I just wasn't surprised at all to hear this. You know what I mean? Guys started to talk about him at that point. He was funny business, talking to the cops, going in the cell with this dude, blah, 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 right? And that is how it goes. That's politics, and that's the beginning of you getting moved on and trashed or stabbed or extorted or whatever, right? That's the beginning of something like that. You allow that thing to get out of control. What Whitey would have had to do right off the rip to stop his name from being trashed or stop violence from being perpetrated against him is to go and smash the first person who says anything about it, take him out in a bad way. And then whatever you did, if people don't like it, they're gonna have to fight you about it. And most of the time, if you put in that work, dudes will just
put in work. If sometimes you gotta go to one of your enemies and make an example of who you are. You earn your respect by
stabbing people.
putting in work, hurting them, really taking their wind out.
Work. Dudes will just let it slide because it's like, yo, that's your life. If you're gonna be a man about it, you be a man about it. Yeah, I did it, and I'll break you up, like that type of attitude about it, right? But anyways, fast forward, I'm in the hole in the max, me and my boy Garrett, and the kid who was allegedly Aaron Hernandez's boyfriend.
In a jailhouse interview with Howard, Kennedy said he had an intimate relationship with Hernandez in prison.
One day we were walking the cell, and he's like, just lay down and close your eyes, shut off the light. And he's like, and that's the first time.
How much of a dark secret was this for him to carry around as a burden?
I could tell once he started opening up to me and talking to me every day, I could just see it in his eyes. Like he was getting happier. He was just being able to
I don't really believe this guy's story. Rest in peace, because he OD'd once he got out. What's written on your forehead, buddy? I don't know whether to look at you or read you. God damn. I don't believe this guy, what he says about Aaron Hernandez. It's easy to make up a lie about somebody once they're not with us anymore. I don't believe him. Do you believe him?
confide in something that he couldn't talk to anybody about.
Howard says Kennedy wanted to talk and tell his story.
He was someone who had been denied publicly as Aaron's lover, who he claims had written a fourth suicide letter to him, but that Aaron's lawyer and family prevented him from getting it.
We're celled up with this other kid next door to me. So that's Kyle Pierre Kennedy. Rest in peace, Kyle. You know what I mean? He's gone now, so I'm not going to say, terrible things about him, even though I believe terrible things about him. He's very, very, very messed up for what he did and the things he said about Double A after Double A unfortunately took his own life. And now that's another person they were claiming was having homosexual activity with this kid Pure, right? Now Pure was neighbors with me in the box. And one night, me and Garrett are sleeping, and we hear what sounds like, So I'm like, Garrett wakes me up. I was dead asleep. Garrett wakes me up. He gets out of his top bunk, jumps down, and he's like, Maddie. Garrett's a straight homophobe. Like, I'm not gonna lie, God rest Garrett's soul too, my brother and my best friend, right? He jumps off his top bunk, comes down, and is like, yo, Maddie.
Now, these cells are so small. I mean, if you have a decent-sized bathroom, your bathroom is way bigger than a lot of these cells. And right above the toilet and the sink, you have a vent. And the vent, if there's upstairs and downstairs, you could hear what's going on in the cell next to you. So when it's quiet at night, you could basically hear anything. I mean, in the daytime, a lot of guys will put curtains in front of their door, and if the cop comes around, they'll be like, flats. That means there's a cop checking cells on the flats. Top tier.
Now, we were in the box. We were smoking tons of deuce, man. That was a good time, bro. And I'm going to tell you a little offshoot story about that in a second, right? So he comes down and he starts shaking me. Yo, Maddie, you hear that? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, nah, they got to be working out, bro. It's 3 a.m, mind you, like late at night.
He's working out at 3 a.m.
I'm like, nah, man, they got to be working out. He's like, at 3 a.m, they're working out. Now he's flipping out. They could probably hear us over there talking and shit. And all of a sudden it gets quiet. Like, it's quiet again. Next day, Garrett's like, yo, what are you doing over there, bro? What were you doing last night, man? And he's like, what do you mean? And they wouldn't admit to nothing, dude, right? Nothing. Then that same kid who was cellies with Pure goes over to the north side and allegedly gets caught with a man doing something, right? Hold on. So Pure gets moved down there with Aaron, Double A, Aaron Hernandez. He's down in G2 with Aaron Hernandez for a little while. Now, in this block, you have serious dudes. And then you have a mixture of other guys that were basically smashed out of their gangs and went over there and, basically kind of started up their own section of that gang again, right? I don't agree with some of them guys that were over there, but there was guys like Bubba Good, really serious dude, you know, body and shit, fucking cut a banger off one night to rip that thing off his bunk. Even the cops wouldn't go after him. Like, this dude was a serious dude, bro. He used to run around the yard bare feet, right? And you know, he was like, there was rumors about him saying that he had, you know, done some impure things with people, but I never saw it myself, right? But when Double A was down there, this kid's like a little dweeb, bro, pure. Kyle Pure Kennedy overdosed back in, like, I don't know, year ago, 2 years ago. And they were living together down there for a little while. Now, they're smoking deuce together. They were in the same gang together. It is highly unlikely that they were having relations together. That, in my mind, is almost not even possible, because the only time they could have been together is when the doors were open. Now, you could put your curtain up, and a lot of people put their curtains up because they're sitting in their cell smoking deuce, even when rounds are coming. Sometimes if people call flats. So if the cop's coming around on the flats, your duty as a convict, the first person who sees the cop leave the desk and start to walk around to do a round in the flats, you call flats. As soon as he hits the stairs, you call second tier, right? Flats, top tier, low side, high side. Like, if they're on the low side of the tier, you're calling low side. High side of the tier, high side. Top tier, low side. Top tier, high side. So people will pull the curtain back a little bit so they can see in. But that's the politics. That's how it goes, right? Cops, leave that alone. It's what we do. The block will be smelling like smoke, smelling like booze. That's the way it goes, bro. You cannot stop it. And I don't care what those cops say in his book. We do not stand for count. And none of the shit that he said in that James Patterson book was, like, legit, dude. That was all right from the handbook. The guy, like, read the handbook and, like, copy pasted it into his book. Not facts. I'm giving you facts, right?
He said James Patterson is capping. James Patterson is not telling you the truth. Shout out to Oxymoron for the $5 super chat. I mean, $5 super chat. Thank you. We're trying to make the goals. We only got 5 goals up there. I figured maybe I can go get a sandwich.
So the gangs did not control the phones on that block either, right? There's probably a white phone, a black phone, a Spanish phone, but there's 12 phones on a block. Some people hold phones, they dangle them from the thing and whatever, right? But anyways, back to the topic at hand. So G2, back in 2010, there was a black dude we called him Sully, right? Now, I don't know his real name, but I know we called him Sully. He had, like, brick wall tattooed on his back, whatever. Short kind of black dude. I actually, I spoke to him many times. Like, he was on the block with me many times. Didn't seem like a bad dude, bro. But he had a little Asian cellmate at one point, right? They are drinking one night. Word is that Sully dropped some trazodones in this kid's booze, right? Trazodone is something that you can kind of taste, metallic-y, numbs your mouth a little bit, but booze can be very strong in there. Despite what people might think, you can make alcohol that's like 8% alcohol at least, right? If not way more, like 16% probably. It's fortified wine. So it can get as strong as alcohol can get without killing itself, right? And that can happen. It can turn to vinegar or whatever, right? So it can get very strong. You can drink 1 bottle and be drunk, 2 bottles and be smashed, and 3 bottles, you'll be friggin' spinning around, falling over, can't walk.
He said, you'll be friggin' out of it. They be making that hooch. I don't believe the story. And even he said he didn't believe the story. I mean, the kid Kennedy, I think he's dead now. That started the Aaron Hernandez story. But the prison he's talking about, Max, the moment you hit max security, the gods, they want to make the message clear that we control this shit. We control your movement. We control when you eat. We control if you get your mail. If you make phone calls, we can prevent you from taking a friggin' shower. not me as we, but they could prevent you from taking a shower. You know, they mess up your sleep. You know, keep you from going out to the yard. I mean, everything is scheduled, monitored, and restricted. Yes, just like a school. The only two things that have not really changed is the education system, right? And prisons. I mean, everything that Maddie has said has been facts, all true. I don't know about what's going on in Walpole, but I was in the ACI Supermax. I was in the Adult Correctional Institution maximum security, medium security, you know, so I do believe he could be. But you don't walk anywhere without permission. They don't want you to speak unless spoken to. I mean, and don't forget, not for 1 second, that you're in a place built to break routine, break ego, break resistance. The gods want total control of you. I mean, respect isn't a suggestion. You know, respect is survival. You want to survive? You better get some friggin' respect, young man. You know, you better get some mother effing respect. Because if not, you're not going to survive inside Max. Turtle, pay attention.
Walk like, you know, sloppy drunk type status. This dude drank 1 bottle and fell asleep. And word is he woke up and his butt hurt. He said he kept on coming to a little bit through the night. And like there was things happening.
So he said homeboy put trazodone in his juice. And he said that when he woke up in the morning, his butt was hurting for certain. Damn. They went up in your boy.
Happening. So he gets up and he goes to his boy's door in the morning time, right? Now, this is all facts. This isn't just gossip. This is facts, right? Coming from a convict, dude, right? So he goes to these doors and he tells his boy, he says, yo, I think this dude took my buns last night. They said, what? Like, yo, you know, they talk like, what?
Hold on. We just can't fly by that. The dude took his buns. We just can't let that go.
Buns last night. They said, what? Like, yo, you know, they all talk like, what? They're like, yo, that's something you might want to keep to yourself or go. You got to go handle that, bro, right?
For real.
So dude makes a razor knife. You know, he puts like 3 or 4 razor blades together to sturdy it up and then melts it into a piece of plastic or whatever, how he does it. You can make really good razor knives.
I mean, there's a few things, right, that'll get the punishment that you have to go through all this trouble, TV, right? Don't stare at someone too long, right? TV, don't ask too many questions when you get there. This isn't a YouTube presentation anymore, right? Listen, another thing, TV, don't touch anything that is not yours. You know, these are some rules that you have to live by. Don't repeat what you hear. Don't act like you're tougher than the room. Because let me tell you, they'll correct your ass in a minute. The unspoken rule is simple when you get up to the max. Right? No matter what max you in, what state you're in, the rules are simple. Mind your business. Handle your responsibilities and don't create problems you can't solve. People who follow that rule, they do their time. Look, I'm not a big dude. I did fine. But people who don't, oh, they learn very, very fast.
Knives. I think it would just piss me the fuck off, but they're scary.
Up and you need to go.
And consider what happened to Officer Ray.
He got sliced. Now that's what a razor blade on a toothpaste would do. On a toothbrush. Some people would get the razor blades, they'll put 3 or 4 together, make them sturdy, and they'll make like a S shape on them. So when they slice, it kind of looks like that below his ear.
Calderon, who has gone public, his face slashed.
You know, but listen, it's a political system. We only respect the violence. They're old school convicts. Then you got mixed in with young hotheads, you know, a whole bunch of jailhouse lawyers, hustlers, lifers. I mean, guys that been down over 20 years, guys who won't make it out in 20 days. Every block has its own rhythm. Every tier has its own rules. You could be in one unit, they have rules this way. You go to another unit, the rules change. And every group, every clique, whatever you want to call it, has its own alliances and boundaries. And don't cross that boundary because they're going to tax your ass.
By two 19-year-olds last November.
Got 22 stitches in my face. Okay? This could have easily been a funeral arrangement today.
I think it opens you up immediately upon touching your skin. If they're new razors, that'll take your carotid artery. Those will take your arteries, things like that. But a blade will puncture through your heart, puncture through your lungs, puncture through, like, hit your bones and hurt your bones, like bruise them really bad. So that hurts for a long time when you get stabbed and it hits your bone.
The first victim in the case is Maurice Crespo, a known gang member, a Crip.
You know, and even the officers, they're part of the same BS too. Some of them are very unpredictable. Some of them will treat you fair, but most of them, they won't. A lot of them treat the job like a power trip, man. They come in here all amped up. But you learn as a convict, see, there's a difference between an inmate and a convict. You learn pretty fast who's who. You learn pretty fast.
He was stabbed once in the chest. Another victim, Thomas Clardy, was stabbed 3 times in the back. Now, Clardy was cut. He had one cut about that long, and the 2 straight in were still about yay wide. It's like his shoulder was like.
Those, you know, it can fracture your skull, things like that. So a bone crusher is way worse than a razor knife, but a razor blade knife is very scary and dangerous because it opens you up so much just upon touching yourself. But if you got,
let's see, approximately 7.5 inches long and sharpened to a real nice point, that'll do some damage.
A 7.5 inch long blade. Come on now. I mean, every prison has the trenches. You know what I mean? Maximum security is the deep end. You know, if you can't swim, don't go to the deep end. You know, you got to know how to swim. But a place like this, movement, stop, noise, echoes, time just stretches right out. And the walls feel closer than they should. I mean, you're locked down almost all day. You're escorted everywhere by a move team, you know, time to go to chow, time to go to the yard, you know, and you're watched constantly every move you make. The only thing louder than the silence is the tension, because the tension, ooh, boy, the tension. I mean, some people form bonds in the unit and they don't exist anywhere else because when it's us versus the system, you learn who stands with you.
Person right there. I've seen shanks made out of toothbrushes, ink pens, hanging folders.
Damn, look at that joint.
And file cabinets.
Shanks? Yeah, they're not hard to come by. You can, you know, if you want one, you can have one.
but if you got clothes on and shit, protects you from that. And most people, if they know smoke is coming, they'll wear the green jumpsuit or the gray jumpsuit that protects them from those blades. They're almost stab proof. Like if you wear 2 or 3 of those jumpsuits, all the old school cons used to wear those freaking jumpsuits, the prison jumpsuits all the time. Like they would wear the top on anyway, not the pants. They'd wear like shorts and then the gray top or the green top or the orange top, whatever it is, wherever you are, what block you're on or what side you're on. but they would wear them because it protects you from knife stabs, right? Those things are very strong. I used to put them on mattresses to test my knife out to see if it was sharp enough to go through it. And it's not like foolproof. It's going to go through it. You know what I mean? But it can protect you from like a weaker blade, especially if you have 2 of them or 3 of them on. It's going to really, slow it down or stop it a little bit, right? Allegedly. It ain't stopping someone with a purpose. You know what I mean? You come in there with a purpose and a blade, you're going to fucking take shit out, right? But he goes in the cell, makes the raisin knife. They all go to gym the next day. This kid, the Asian kid, comes up behind Sully and just fillets him, because at gym, you take your shirt off, you got shorts on, your skin is exposed, right? Bro opens up his whole back, face, he's cutting this dude up. They end up getting to a fight. Sully ends up getting a little bit of the better of him at the end, but he's already got the cuts all over him, dude, right? So he's got mad stitches, dude, and he paid for that in a little way, but still, I don't know, man. I might have to go way further than just that if someone did that to me, dude, right?
Make a long story short, here come the stretcher. They put little mama on the stretcher. Little mama, man, the cell full of blood. The cell bloody as I don't know what. It looked like half little mama head missing.
Allegedly, he woke up a couple times when it was happening too. Like, I don't know, man. He must have been really like out of it for something like that to take place. And that's one of those things they say, like in that pre-elimination thing, that
there will right away be groups of people, cliques or whatever you want to call them, gangs, whatever you want to call them, that may come up and ask you specifically, hey, you get high? Hey, you drink? You may have never said no to drugs and alcohol ever in your life. And I'm looking at myself at that situation. You've got to find that strength to say no and not put yourself in that position, because if you do, that's an extremely high risk.
Don't drink because they could put stuff in your booze and stuff like that. That's like the oldest trick in the book type of thing. But nobody would expect that in Sousa Baranowski, because we have a code. After the days in Walpole, it was like, people would have boys, you know what I mean? They'd have prison dads, whatever. Prison dad didn't technically mean you were getting your buns taken. It was like they were schooling you, and it was like, a younger con comes in and there's an older school convict, and they would bring you in and it would be like a father figure to them. You know what I mean? I was so young coming into the max. I came in on a county sentence because I was tearing shit up in the counties, dude, right? I'm talking about gang wars, smashing COs, smashing out whoever, dude, right? Like taking canteen bags from people at canteen and breaking their face with foxtails, like socks with batteries all in them, and like just going ham. I did not know how to deal with my time then, right? And I was surrounded by killers, gang members, people that would take your life if you disrespected them. But that kept the respect in the facility so heavy. Like, we had a lot of respect in there, dude, right? And people would say sorry. They would apologize. And it's funny because I come out here and I'm very respectful, and people think it's soft. But really, it's me just showing the respect I learned to have in prison. So you do learn good values in there, right? I go to the medium in 2018. They come to my door one day. They're like, yo, you pack it up. You're going. I was shocked. I had filed a grievance on my class board because it was the 4th class board in a row where I had medium points, and they kept me in the max because they did a code T and a code U override, claiming that there was seriousness that cannot be captured within the point system, which is such bullshit. They come up with anything they can to keep you in that max, right? And I appealed it and I grieved it. Even though they said I cannot grieve a class board, I did it anyways. And boom, I won. So stick up for your rights no matter what, wherever you are, right? So I end up going to the medium. I go to Old Colony Correctional Center. When I get down there, guess who's there? Good old Whitey, right? Ratting like a motherfucker, like ratting. Bro, we called him a paper bag boy. He would go out to the lieutenant's office and come back with paper bags full of food. He got money from nobody, but had everything. One of them guys, right? Couple of strips, he's gone, right? Not saying I gave it to him. We're talking novels here, you know what I mean? But he got taken the fuck out, right? We cleaned up that block really quick. So, and when I was down there, the cop said to me straight up, he's like, this is the longest, weirdest running time where we haven't had one kite, one person tell for a long time, since basically 2 weeks after I got there. And I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? People are just doing the right thing, I guess, you know? There was only one kite drop that I knew of, and we found out, and the dude got taken care of, right? But that was Whitey. That was Whitey. You know what I mean? Got someone drug tested, and boom, he's out of there. You know what I mean? And here's another kid. We're gonna call him CH, right? Because I'm not gonna put the kid's name out there. It's, you know, he's out, he's free, he's living his life, and this is prison stories. This is prison and what happens there, and the twisted world we live in. And prison is an alternative reality, dude, right? And everybody's different, but this is what happened. So this is the story. This is it here. I get down there. Now, CH is the plug. He's got the book, he's got the strips, and he's got the money, right? Everybody who's got money, which was basically like 10 dudes in the whole camp that had it good enough to be able to get whatever they wanted whenever they wanted. And I was definitely number one, right? I got anything I wanted whenever I wanted, never went a day sober, right? Because I did what I had to do daily, which is just Suboxone. But I did make booze. I was making batches. I showed all the kids that never been to the max, never did time like that. It was really fun teaching them how to make booze and showing them what a real convict is, because it really didn't have that environment down there. But you had guys coming with me, like my boy Timmy Shuhan came with me from the max to the old colony. And it was funny because we were in the tank and he's like, oh my God. He's like, they're sending you to a medium? He's like, this is going to be interesting. Interesting it was, my man. Interesting it definitely was, right? So we get down there and I go instantly the first night, me and Timmy, because Timmy came down with me. I grabbed him. I'm like, this is my guy. Anything we did, we broke it in half with each other, right? So me and Timmy were basically partners, dude. Timmy was really good dude, bro. Timmy got fucked on his sentence. He's doing 20 years for a stabbing, right? That, you know, it was basically like he was protecting his family, basically, and he got the wrong person. Guy with the same name, wrong guy. Fucked up coincidence, but it happens. And the dude happened to be like a firefighter, upstanding member of the society, and he got smoked for a minor stab, like a little bit. It was a stabbing nonetheless, but it's like, damn, man, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. So 20 years is a very, very long time if you didn't know, right? Think about going the next 2 years. Just 2 years sitting in a bathroom, like 20 years, bro. 20 years. In a crazy ass environment, dude, right? Where violence rules. Violence, political manipulation, the way you use your mind and your words can get you very far in prison. And that's, I don't know what it was, a mixture of this and this. I got very far wherever I was. It was like a science, and I got prison down to a science. And I could move smooth, man. I had the cops in smash, the cons on smash. And it's not like I was, you know, they were beneath me, but I just got along, man. Like I was able to move. Anything that happened bad, I smashed them out, took care of the problem, and people respected me, dude, right? And everywhere I went, motherfuckers knew my name and respected me. So check it out, right? Now, I'm not, you know, patting myself in the back. I'm just saying facts, right? And anybody who knows me has been there with me knows, right? But anyways, right? So I'm down there and I'm starting to notice like Chris is using a tranny to hold all this stuff or do all this thing. Now, the dude's doing life. I'm not going to say his name either. And there was more than one tranny down there, right? But the first day I get down there, I really thought, now Chris was down there sitting next to it at the table, and I thought he was talking to a caseworker because it was wearing a green shirt, and nobody gets green shirts except for trannies. And I didn't even know that because I'd never been to a medium before, but they sell the trannies green shirts that, like, I don't know, accommodate them somehow. They sell them bras. They sell them these things they hang over their shoulders. They're fake boobs, right? This one had real ones because it had been transsexual since it was a little child, and I have nothing against him. He's a solid dude. He's actually the brother of like a good friend of mine, kind of. I wouldn't say good friend of mine, an acquaintance, a person I met along the way. Would fight, never told, shit like that. He was a solid as far as that goes, you know what I mean? But he was transsexual, you know? Chris is sitting down there next to him. I thought he's talking to the caseworker. So when I came down, I was like, hey, Chris, what's up, bro? Because me and Chris, I know him from Worcester County back in the day, really good dude, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think anything of it really. But my cellie keeps telling me, right now, Chris is my neighbor, and my cellie keeps telling me, like, yo, I think something's going on between them. I'm telling you, man, you haven't been here that long, but you'll see, right? And he tells me a story that one day he went in there and they were laying on top of each other, just laying on top of each other with the curtain up at the end of the bed. And they were just laying there on top of each other. Like, I didn't believe him because he was a hater. This dude was a straight up hater. If you didn't give him a piece, I could see him throwing a jacket on somebody. You know what I mean? So I didn't really believe him at first. I know this kid very well. He's a warrior, gladiator. You know what I mean? He would get it in, wasn't telling. You know what I mean? And like the medium, shit. There's a lot of people telling down there. It's like if people are down there for a minute, so I respected the ones that were solid and weren't on that, like, if they get caught, tell on anything to the Ips just so they could stay in the medium type shit. There's a lot of them down there, man. It's weird, bro. So but like I said, you can clean it up. All it takes is one solid dude to change the atmosphere on the block. And it fortunately happened with me when I got down there. I was able to, boost the morale on the unit and, turn things more convict-like, get the politics right for a little while, me and Timmy, and it was just, it was way better. And you could really bid like that. You know what I mean? Like, I had another dude that I see him out here on the streets recently, my boy, bro, right? He was the real plug. Like, when he came down there a little bit before me from the mags, bro, pulling in weight, getting bank. You know what I mean? Really banking, bro. One day, we were drinking shit. You know what I mean? I was drunk. And I go to get my meds. Now, I was trading my meds for things. You know what I mean? Traded my meds for pieces of Subox and things like that. Now, I took my meds mostly because I wanted to, and I felt like they helped me, right? But I come back and I'm like looking for my boy because I want to trade something. This is the first time I seen some really shit, like, weird shit. So I'm calling him, yo, Chris, like on the block. I'm looking for him in his cell. He's nowhere to be found, but he could only be on this unit. It's nighttime and there's no movement. You're either at meds or you're here, right? Like, where the fuck is he? So I'm thinking maybe he's in the shower. I get in the shower because we just got back from the gym too. Like, we went to the gym, came back, went to meds, boom, here. And so I go jump in the shower and I hear somebody right when I get in the shower yelling, Chris. I look out of the shower and I'm looking to see if he finds him, right? And sure enough, dude walks right out of the tranny cell, boom, onto the tier, bro. And I'm like, nah, because that door was open. The lights were off because I went there second. I went to his cell and then that cell second because he's always in either one of those cells, right? He's in that cell or that cell. I go there. I don't see anybody in there. It's pitch black. The TV's off. The curtain's hanging at the end of the bed. That thing has a dog. It was in the dog program. The dog's in the cage. Like, I figured they were asleep. I'm like, oh, he's got to be asleep. The trainee's got to be asleep because the dog goes in the cage at nighttime. You know what I mean? That's how they sleep. It's like they're training them. These dogs are like police dogs. And that's another cool story, man. The dogs really changed the dynamic for me. Being able to pet a dog, play with these dogs on the unit, man, coming from being in the max. And at that point, it was like I was up there for 9 years straight. And I had done 6 years before that up there. 9 years then, like, I'm like, or it might have been 8 years, sorry, because I still wasn't even close. Oh, yeah. Still wasn't even close to wrapping up. I might have done more than 15 up there now that I think about it. Yeah. But either way, right? So the dogs really changed it, man. I love just being able to play with the dog. You know what I mean? Some of the people that had dogs were a little bit of a bitch, like, oh, you can't touch my dog unless you ask. If you're like, shut the fuck up, dude. What are you gonna do about it, bro? Any violence, you're kicked out of that program. So it's like, dude, okay, buddy. Like, dude, get a life, kid. We're all in here together. You know what I mean? So the dogs made it better for me, man. I really enjoyed that atmosphere. The weight come off your shoulders when you come down there. It was like a fitness camp to me. All I did was work out every day, eat really good, drink on the weekends, and hang out with kids that really didn't do time like that, dude. They were all younger kids that got sent to medium. Some of them had stretches, 8 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, but never been in a real joint. Now, Old Colony was kind of like half mental health, half regular, you know what I mean? So they had a lot of people down there, dude, right? And they had a serial killer on the unit, a big fat piece of shit, if you ask me, bro. He's killing prostitutes. Now, who's to say he didn't rape them first? This dude worked in the kitchen. I never said a word to the dude, right? Did not like him. I'm going to try to find out his name so I can tell you that story too. But it's like, damn, man, I did not fuck with these dudes like that, right? I had to know you or know of you to talk to you. And that was it, man, because you never know who's down there, dude, right? So anyways, he comes walking out of the tranny cell, dude. And he's like, yo, what's up? I'm like, no way. No way. I just went over there and it didn't look like anybody was in there but the person sleeping on the bed. There's nobody on the top bunk in there. All the people in the dog program have single cell status. And I'm like, you ought to be shitting me. They must have been laying on the bed together, right? There's only one reason why you do that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, no, man, dude. So I go up that night and I'm talking loudly about it. And he's my neighbor, dude. And I'm like, nah, fuck that, dude. Like, that's just crazy, bro, right? Well, I'd go over there, man, see him talking a lot. One day I'm down, I'm drinking again, right? This is the other instance that set it in stone for me, bro. That really made me know, like, this dude's all the way turned out. He's all the way turned out, right? So I fucking was getting my meds and the tranny was down there listening to music on his tablet. Now I was waiting for meds to get called. They pop the door. You go all the way down the hallway because the OU block in Old Colony is like the last block all the way at the end of the prison. You have to walk all the way down, all the way up around the ramp. And Old Colony was a level 5, right? And it used to be a gladiator camp. That was where it went down. Some really good infamous fights like Boo Boo and Kevin Kelly in the weight pit, and Sparky and my boy Gino on Max 2, I think it was, or Max B, whatever they called it over there, right? I forget the name of the blocks now. But Max C, maybe, Max C and Max B, I believe. But over there on that unit, bro, I'm talking about, these are two of the most infamous badass fights that are always talked about in the system. You got Kevin Kelly's a big dude from Dorchester, Savin Hill, and Boo Boo is, obviously I talk about Boo Boo. He's a straight gladiator, bro. Don't take no shit. Very split hair temper. They were arguing over weights in the weight pit. Boo Boo said some shit like, I'll fuck you up. Kevin's like, what? Then do it then, motherfucker. And Boo Boo and him just start banging out. Now, when I asked Kevin Kelly about the fight, because me and Kevin are friends too. And he said, dude, it was one of the best fights in my life. He's like, I was fighting for my life. He's like, that kid wouldn't stop. You know what I mean? Like when I'm talking about fighting for my life, like he probably would have killed me if he got the better of me. And they were going at it, both really good shape. Cause like I said, down there, it's like a fitness camp. You work out, you eat good, and you chill. Like, and you had a bunch of real ass gladiators there. Gino, Viola, and Sparky, bro. Like, that was a good one too, man. They went up and down the tier. Those are two like really, really good dudes too, man. And yeah, so those are two really good fights that happened down there. But there used to be stabbings down there all the time. Real fucking dudes and real shit happening. And whatever happened, they changed it. They put the mental health aspect there. They moved Bridgewater over into a unit on there. And it just became a different type of camp, a lot softer. They put, like I said, they had like serial killers and they had a whole unit for sex offenders. And like you would walk by and look into that unit, straight creepy looking, bro, right? But yeah, man. And what the crazy thing with Chris is one night I'm down there and I'm getting my meds or waiting for my meds, and I started talking to this thing. And I'm like, just talking. I asked him what song he was listening to because I'm drunk, right? And he's the only other person there. And I'm like, hey, man, what's up? Just thinking because he's friends with Chris. And I'm like, what song are you listening to? What kind of music you like? And he's telling me, blah, blah, blah. Bro, dude sees it. Chris sees it from his cell. And the way he called me was like, stop talking to my girl. He was like, yo, Manny. He's like, come here, man. Come here. I'm like, I was like, wow, bro. I walk over and I get up the stairs and said, what the fuck you call me like that for, bro? He's like, I got a piece for you, bro. He's like, but he was very frustrated. It was like he thought I was trying to steal his girl, dude. It was like that, dude. That was it. Like he gave me a piece as an excuse to get me away from that thing, dude. I'm like, yo, Chris, man. I asked him one time. I said, what do you got going on with this thing, dude? And he's like, come on. He blushed. He said, I don't have nothing going on, man. We're just boys. Like, he said, that's my boy. I was like, oh, okay. When we went to the hole, he was emailing him. When he went home, he was emailing him. Loved him, fell in love. And that is like, in quote, what I've heard is they fell in love. And like, I think he will be forever connected to this person. And those are my stories of being turned out and what happens just with that type of behavior in prison. And let me finish it off with this, dude, right? I have absolutely nothing at all against people who do that type of stuff in there. I don't give a shit. You're your own man. You make your own decisions. When you die, you will answer to God. Do what you think is right and be a man about it. Stand for what you believe, whatever it is. W number. Ow.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you all. I have to do my taxes now. I'm still trying to get the stuff on YouTube straightened out. Yep, look. Everybody, look. I'm over here, got crutches. My sciatic nerve, I guess, is wrapped around one of my discs or some shit like that, but I can barely even walk. It sucks. Now, this is a real life stream. Absolutely. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Yo, we have 54 members. Like, I'm like kind of ecstatic about having that. So we're going to have some member live streams. All live streams will, after I stream them, they'll be members only. And then we'll put it out to the public. Thank you for hitting up the super chats. If anybody got a membership today, nope, no members today. But we have a super chat for $4.99. I'm not a troll. No, you're not. Randall, $4.99. Goals, not trolls. Absolutely. An oxymoron. You got my support for the long run. Mikey Goals. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate y'all. We'll definitely catch you on the next one. Like, I really didn't have much to talk about today. It wasn't, but I haven't talked to you guys for a couple of days, so it's wild out there. It's tough being a female and getting older. I ain't no spring chicken. God damn. See you all soon, chat. We out. I gotta leave you with another banger, right? Let's go. This one going out to the chat, to the mods, to the members. It's all about you.
To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. Y'all the backbone of the night, holding us tight. To the members, true believers, making it real. You're the pulse in our heart, let's seal the deal. To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. You're the backbone of the night, holding us tight. We don't live, just know this is true, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we gon' take a moment before we dive in.
Let me show some love, you know.
Yeah. Flow. Turn on the stream, feel the energy rise. Shout out to the fam, the ones in the skies. Every comment, every laugh keeps the vibe alive. You're the heartbeat of the chat, yeah, we thrive. Pulling up each night, ready to roll. You make this place lit. Body and soul, vibes in the back, heavy lifting, they don't play. Keeping it smooth, watching traffic every day. Peacekeepers on alert, holding down the fort. Crew full of love, every stream they support. To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. You're the backbone of the night, holding us tight. To the members, true believers, making it real. You're the pulse in our heart, let's do the deal. To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. You're the backbone of the night, holding us tight. To the members, true believers, making it real. You're the pulse in our heart, let's seal the deal.
We see you dedicated, going the extra mile. Not just watching you invested, that's the style. Lights on, vibe strong, every show's a hit. Community together, can't take a minute to quit. You keep us going, no watered down vibe. From the chest to the miles, know we thrive.
Major respect to the ones who keep it clean. Clean up crew rolling, y'all know what I mean. Don't try it today, they say with a glance. Bringing peace to the chaos, giving us a chance. To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. Y'all the backbone of the night, holding us tight. To the members, true believers, making it real. You're the pulse in our heart, let's seal the deal. To the chat, to the crew, yeah, we shine bright. You're the backbone of the night, holding us tight. We don't live, just know this is true. We appreciate every single one of you. This is our moment, community's the key. Let's get it poppin', let's set the stream free. So here's to the chat mods and members like, oh, you're the heart of the stream and that's never getting old. Now let's get into it, yeah, we ride on time with you by our side. Every night's a problem,
Yeah, we out here holding it down. This community's love, wear it like a crown. Don't see the fire that's burning in the rough. Maybe these walls could talk. They say it's all my fault. That I don't try hard, act like I never fought. But I'm just trying to stand. But the flames, they dash in the heat. Raised in a game where the weak get pushed aside, but I'm tired of hiding behind this mask, can't abide. Hands burned from the struggle, still I'm reaching for the stars. Every scar a reminder of a night spent behind bars. Yeah, I see the whispers, hear the doubts in my head, but no flower blooms from the pain that I was fed. Count the losses, count the moments that I failed to reclaim, but every victory's a spark igniting this flame. Yeah. I feel my father's shadow creeping in my spine. Be a man, boy, echoes like an old lesson line. Can't escape his voice, the pressure just won't let up. Constellations of regret still orbit in my cup. If these walls could talk, they'd say it's all my fault. That I don't try hard, act like I never fought. But I'm just trying to stand, but the flames, they lick my feet. Every flower I touch turns to ash in the heat. Yeah, they ask if I'm okay. No, I ain't fine, but I'm rising from these ashes, burning like a shrine. So if they throw the dirt, I'll grow right from the grime. In this concrete jungle, I'm the one that's on the climb. Yeah. Flowers in the shadow, they only bloom in time.
All right, people, we out of here. Thank you.
Yeah, they ask if I'm okay, but they can't see the scar behind.